Good morning to everybody. Let's see if I can get this up and running. Let's see. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's get that screen recording going. Boom, we are live. What's up, everybody? Let me let the Discord know that we're up and running, and we will get going. But good morning. Happy Wednesday to each and every single one of you. Much better day this morning. Thank you. Thank you. It's a much better day this morning. Let the Discord know, and we're good. I'm going to do a better job today of watching the Discord. I did such a bad job yesterday. So I've made an agreement to do a better job. If you're not in the Discord, jump in the Discord. Link is in my link tree in my bio. If you have trouble getting in, just shoot me a DM. I'll make sure to get you in. But the Discord is growing. We're up to 325 members now, so it's not quite as exclusive as it was. Joyful one of the subscribers. Welcome. Half Pint, how you doing? Good morning. Half Pint UGA. I always think of the Utah Golf Association, but I think it's Georgia, right? Is that right? It's from Georgia. Judy, yay! We survived. How was the floor? I meant to look at that, and I got distracted because Vivek is an idiot. So what do we have? We landed this morning? It was supposed to land this morning, right? Or touch land? What do you say with a hurricane? It's just touch down, make landfall. Is that what it is? Make landfall. But Judy, we're thrilled to have you. Let's see what the hurricane is. Anybody else get hit by make landfall? Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else in the hurricane aftermath? I'm looking at some of the storms. It looks like a lot of flooding. Category 3. Did it take out DeSantis? Did anybody check on DeSantis? Did it take him out? Did it just fly him away? That'd be terrific. Just fly him up. Send him to Canada. That's fine. It's fine by me. Missed us here in Fort Myers. Good. Congratulations. We're not that lucky. Oh, no. Oh, we're not that lucky with DeSantis. So it didn't take DeSantis. That's disappointing. DeSantis is on air now? Gross. All right. Here's what I want to do. If you are opposition, go ahead and jump in the box. I'll throw up the topics here in just a minute. But I wanted to first talk about our guy, Vivek. And I'm going to throw this in the Discord. Let me see if I find the... That's not the right one. I'm going to throw these links up in the Discord, so if you're in the Discord, you'll have access to these. But this is a story that's going around. I saw it from Walter Masterson, but it's a TikTok user named Driven Progressive, who I don't know, but this is incredible. I don't know if you guys have heard this. Sorry, it's a little bit long, but I wanted to play it. Give me just 1 second. We'll get it playing. All right, start over. This is just a little story about Vivek.
So Vivek RamaScammy seems to be the right's new it boy that all the conservative grifters like Candace Owens and Tim Pool are latching onto. And one of his big claims at the debate the other night was that he's not bought and paid for like all these other guys. But how exactly did he make his money at such a young age? And you're probably guessing, seeing as I'm making this video, that it wasn't some sort of unethical way. But you're going to want to stick around because I would almost guarantee you it's worse than you're thinking. After working at a hedge fund for a while, Vivek made his big money in the biotech space. Vivek had a company called Axivant that was incorporated in Bermuda, but was pushing a drug called RVT-101 that was supposed to help slow the effects of Alzheimer's. But where exactly did this awesome new drug come from? Did Vivek develop it? Well, of course not. And this is where it starts to get a little crazy, because he actually purchased the rights to it from a bigger company, GlaxoSmithKline, for just $5 million. But wait, hold up. If this drug does what they say it does, why would GlaxoSmithKline sell it for just $5 million when they could make billions? Well, it's because they had pretty much given up on the drug after it failed not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 clinical trials. Because what Vivek did is he took one of those failed clinical trials, put his mom on the research team, who is a doctor, but was also on the board and had stock options in the company, and they took some people out, reworked a couple things, finagled a couple others, and all of a sudden that failed clinical trial was now a clinical trial that showed significant improvement. Just like that. overnight. You then, of course, rename the drug, and now you have a promising new drug and a finagled phase 2 clinical trial that you can cherry pick a few lines from. You then go on CNBC and talk about the unlimited potential that this company has. Then all you gotta do is file for your IPO and watch the money roll in. Even though before the company itself actually makes any money, you got to pass phase 3 clinical trials, but more on that in a second. And when they eventually did do their IPO, it was the biggest biotech IPO ever. The stock doubled on the first day, and eventually it went from $15 all the way up to $50 based on a hope, a prayer, and Vivek's salesmanship. But then after the stock shot up and enough time had passed so Vivek's family and rich friends could sell off their shares, it was then finally time to do stage 3 trials. And surprise, surprise, it completely flopped, which caused the stock to drop 99% in one trading day because it was now a worthless stock. But he had always known it was a worthless stock. And if you do know anything about the stock market, you're probably asking yourself, why does a company called Axovant have a ticker CO Gene Therapies? Well, that's because after the stock completely tanked, he changed the name because he wanted to make it harder for people to find his pump and dump company. So to recap, the guy that wants to be your president made his fortune by buying a drug that he knew was garbage, super cheap, then using one of the trials that proved it was garbage, having his mom rearrange a few things. He then went out into the media and sold it as the next great American company. And then some poor schmuck that happened to be watching CNBC that day invested in his company, and in one trading day lost everything. But it's okay though, because Vivek, his mom, his brother, and all his rich friends had already made a killing. Finally, in closing, Vivek seems to think that wokeness is destroying the country, but I would really like to ask him, what is hurting the country more? A person using they, them pronouns, or a guy that is running billion-dollar pump and dump schemes on Wall Street, destroying the lives of people that were silly enough to believe what he said?
Let's talk about the scam artist that is Vivek Ramaswamy and why Republicans love scam artists. Why? Why do you like scam artists? Why? How comes when anybody rises to the top of the GOP ticket, it's literally somebody scamming? Let's talk about Vivek. Every day somebody accuses me of getting that George Soros money. Did Vivek maybe get some George Soros money? He sure as shit did. Who do you think paid for his college? You can see there's a town hall, I think it was CNN did a few years ago, with Reverend Sharpton. And was it Reverend Sharpton? No, was it Al Sharpton? I think it was Al Sharpton. It may have been somebody else. Vivek is there as a progressive asking questions. Vivek is absolutely a scammer. There's nothing about him that is real. He pretends that he's like that he's some genius. Obviously, he just scammed. He ran a pump and dump type scam. He loves crypto. He loves the pump and dump. He loves the ability to get rich off of stupid people. And stupid people are the people who are going to vote for Vivek. I was looking at his climate practices, his ideas on climate change. Here's one of the in an interview with, I don't know, might have been MSNBC. He used as his proof that climate change is a hoax that we have seen a 98%, I think it was a 98% decrease in deaths caused by the climate, right? 98%. You're like, oh man, that's good. That seems like a lot. That seems like something that we should tout. Except for he's comparing it to the 1920s. He's comparing from the 1920s till now. Well, what has gotten better since the 1920s? Fucking everything. Our ability to know when climate events are going to happen. Our ability to move people out and to evacuate when a climate event is happening. Stronger houses, stronger infrastructure. More infrastructure to get resources to places people need that after a climate disaster. Vivek is a massive, massive fraud. A massive fraud. And it's no wonder that the top two people on the GOP ticket are Trump and Vivek. Both of them, massive frauds. Both of them will scam all of the people that follow them, and the people are too stupid to know that they are being scammed. So congratulations to all you Republicans. You have turned in, you're basically just like a Ponzi scheme for people. They now know that if you get into the GOP, if you get any sort of notoriety within the GOP, all these poor people with no money will just give you the money because you're going to tell them that you're going to fix everything. Daddy's going to fix everything for you guys. On to the next one. Next story. Check out our guy Enrique Tarrio. He's going to be sentenced today. I think it could be up to 30 years, if I remember correctly. Somebody can respond. But isn't it amazing how cosplay Enrique is like, I'm not going to fuck with that guy. And real life Enrique is like, hey man, could you finish up? I do need to send some emails today, and my computer hasn't been working well. This guy and this guy. We're supposed to say this guy's supposed to be scary. Oh, it's a big old, we do tickle his chin. Oh, just to get right there behind the ears, so guy. Oh, there's a little ear pincher there on Enrique. Oh, it's just gonna have a bad day. Gonna have a bad day, Enrique. It's gonna be a really, really bad day for Enrique. But we're sending you love, big guy. Here's the topics for today. Republicans, why do you support fascism? As always, feminist women are better than alpha men, and if you're a scam artist, the GOP will elect you. That's what we're going to talk about. I do have a couple announcements tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. I will be hosted for a debate. I believe the conversation is about the corruption of Joe Biden. I believe that's what we've settled on. If you're in my Discord, you know the handler of the guy's name is, I want to say it's Rob Noerr, Noerr. I think it's Rob. Might be Bobbert. Maybe Bobbert Noerr. Maybe not. Maybe not the guy with the best reputation. I've seen him debate. I hadn't heard of him before this, but I did go find some debates of his. He debated Destiny. It's Rob. Okay. He debated Destiny and some other right wingers. It's going to be a typical like Gish Gallop. That's what this will be. So all day today. Well, not all day today. I have things to do, but today in my preparation for this debate, I will be practicing with people who cannot stay on topic. And I thought, what a better way to do that than invite a bunch of Trumpies on my show today. It'll be like herding rabbits trying to stay on topic. I'm 100% sure that's how this will go. But it'll be live streamed, I believe, on his YouTube, and it will be live streamed on my YouTube as well. The link for my YouTube is in my link tree in my bio. Make sure that you follow or subscribe, whatever you do on YouTube. It's free. I think it's subscribe. Yeah, you subscribe on YouTube, but it's free. I will be live streaming the debate from myself as well, and then that replay will stay up there, and we'll start to clip it. You'll start to see a lot more content from me coming out on YouTube. We're super limited. It's crazy. Like, we're super limited here, unfortunately, on TikTok. The amount of strikes now that I get every day, I wake up and I have to appeal a strike that TikTok has given me because Republicans are fucking soft. And they try and ban every single video that you have. There's not a single video on my feed at this point that hasn't had a strike added to it, and almost all of them were taken down. But I would say this. Here's one thing I've learned about TikTok. You can say a lot of things. You can say a lot of mean things. You can actually be really mean to people on TikTok, and that can be monetized. But if you have the audacity to say that a woman cannot be made from the rib of a man, you will not be able to monetize that. I don't know why, but that's the case. If you have the audacity to claim that science is fake, science is real, and that the anti-science in some fiction book is not real, then you will not be able to monetize that. I just want you guys to know that. No Boxy. Nobody in the, well, we got triple. Did we survive? Have you had the wins yet?
What are we talking about? My 215-pound Lord and Savior Donald Trump? How you doing? Hey, I got a 100-byte laptop. I got all the evidence I need, and we're gonna take all these commie bastards down. I did my 1 ounce of meth, and I'm feeling great.
What the fuck? What are you doing with your life?
I can't keep my teeth in.
Let me get you on the big screen.
Hey, all you Trumpers, we need to all rise up. We need to rise up. We need to rise up as one and take this country back from these commie bastards.
What is wrong with you?
Lots.
Where you you headed today? You headed down to protest somewhere?
I'm in North Florida. And we underwater. And Donald Trump said he's going to protect me. So I'm swimming right now. I'm tired of all these commie Biden supporters. Tired of it. Save Whitey.
What do you think? Why didn't we nuke that hurricane? Why didn't we nuke it before?
We should have. I think it's going into Alabama now. Those damn Tuscaloosa bastards.
Yeah. Hurricane can't fuck with Alabama.
That's right. They can't fuck with Donald J. Trump. They can't fuck with it.
Roll Tide, baby. Roll damn Tide.
Low tide. I'm probably going to get banned for this, but I don't care. I feel like my brain cells will leave my body wearing this hat.
This is not that far off. This is not that far off. Like the teeth, your teeth are a little too white. They're not quite. That's so gross. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh my God.
Don't mess with Donald J. Trump. That Willis lady is going to go down. That commie Willis is going down in Atlanta, Georgia. It's all a conspiracy. The deep state has got us. I really do feel like I'm losing brain cells wearing this hat.
My head hurts so much. My face hurts. Thank you. There's our course.
I can't keep my teeth in. Anyways, I gotta go. Yeah. But I love you, man. I love you. I love your content. Have a good day.
Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide.
Low tide, low.
What the fuck happened today? Oh, my face hurts. My head hurts. Everything hurts. Well, get a drink. It's too early for that shit. Okay. All right. He made some good points. There were some really good points made there. Number one, if you are a Trump supporter and a hurricane is headed your way, please remember that Donald Trump will protect you, and the safest place for you is if you roll tide, low tide. I can't this morning. I can't do it. Get in the water and make sure, because the hurricane can't hurt you in the water, okay? So if you only if you're a Trump supporter, because he's protecting the waters. He's got to deal with, I think, Poseidon. Stop writing roll tide, low tide. Every time I see it, I'm dying. Oh my God. So let's make it. Holy shit, is this real? I'm seeing Donald Trump. This is from... Is that real? A Fox Business poll says, do you want Donald Trump to be reelected? 38% say yes, 61% say no. Is that a real poll? Has anybody seen that? If my mom was his mom, show would have whooped his ass after he... Bro, what? I was not prepared for that. No such thing as left versus right. It's us versus them. So let's reach common ground. Okay, let's reach common ground. Let's do that. Where are we going to find common ground? This is my one issue. The things that we should find common ground on, like just treating humans like humans. How are we going to find common ground with the right on treating humans like humans? How are we going to do that? You guys can explain that to me. What's up, TM? I swear to God, if you have fake teeth in, I'll lose. Okay, you don't.
Yeah,
Thank God.
good.
Good morning.
I just wanted to make a statement. I got in a MAGA live last night, and we argued for 45 minutes over cursive not being taught in school.
Cursive?
Yeah, cursive writing. And you know why their reason was they were mad about it? Because
I can only imagine.
You can't read the original Constitution, and they can change it on you. Because I said, we got regular text Constitution everywhere. You can read it online. They're like, yeah, but if you don't read it in cursive writing, they can change it on you, and that's what they've done.
Whose live was this?
I don't know, but it was a MAGA live. Because I heard the conversation. I thought it was satire, and so I got in to joke around, and they were serious. And I was like, oh, my God.
It was a real... So, when's the last time you wrote in cursive? I don't even write... Like, even my signature is just... It's just squiggles now.
There was 5 guys in the box. I said, which one of you guys know calligraphy?
Oh, so this was David's live. Trump's live?
He was one of the guys in there, but it wasn't his live.
It wasn't his. Of course he was in there. Of course he was in there.
And so I asked him, who here knows calligraphy? And they're like, well, what does that mean? I said, that's how I was like, that's what they used to write.
That got too many syllables for this conversation. We ain't doing no calligraphy.
They're going to lie to you about everything.
That's when you go online and you see naked women, calligraphy. I think that's what that is. Yeah. Oh my God.
I just had to make that point. It's complete insanity by now.
Yeah, it is. Well, so I assume you changed all their minds and now they're leftists. I assume that's how this went.
Oh no, I'm the commie bastard that doesn't know what I'm talking about and can't believe that they don't think I should have my kid write in cursive because how's he going to sign his name?
How could he? How could he sign his name?
How he practices sign his name. That's how he did it. Actually.
Yeah, we're all just going to write with an X from now on. That's how it's going to be.
They're like, how you going to write a letter? I said, I'm going to email you.
I'm not going to write a letter because I don't want it to take 7 fucking days to get there. That's why I'm not going to write a letter.
I don't need calligraphy to write letters anymore. I just send you an email.
Yeah. Or I'll call you a text message. We can text now. That goes right to your phone.
Yeah, I was like, I use this newfangled object we're all on right now to do a lot of things. It was crazy.
I bet David puts stamps. I bet David puts stamps on his text messages. His stamp budget in his house is fucking outrageous. Just every time he sends a text, he like puts a stamp on it. It's got to be crazy. Oh, you muted. All right, brother. Thank you. God bless you. I don't know what happened there to your connection. Thank you. Oh, and then I kick him right when it's Baskin. Welcome, Baskin. You are a Baskin of truth. Carol?
Oh. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, baby.
I just wanted to say, how do you call 2 niggers fucking?
You're
fucking niggers.
You're so stupid, dude. Why? Like, why? Stupid. That's like your average. You know who thought that was probably funny? That like Trump would have thought that was funny. Trump would have thought that was very, very funny. No, they're not going to ban me for that. You don't get banned for the stuff other people say as long as you do a good job of kicking them. Even if I did get shut down, they'd redo it. They'd let me right back up. They'll check it. Somebody make sure that guy's banned. Oh, you're gonna make this easy on me? Hey, Baskin's still here. Do you want to make sure Baskin gets banned and then report him real quick? Thank you. He comes back in the box. Like I'm just gonna let him back up in the box. Stupid. That guy doesn't have a mom. That guy's mom abandoned him a long time ago. All right. No. Ned, you cannot come back up. All right, fuck it. You can come back up. Welcome back.
I think that was my cousin Earl. That was my cousin Earl. He shouldn't be allowed up there. He talks too much.
He talks too much.
I think he's my next of kin. I think he's my second cousin. My third cousin's carrying 2 of my babies, though. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I did take my meds this morning, and I had too much meth.
Get out of here. Go away. Get out of here. Get out of here. He's killed. Get back to low tide. Get back to low tide. My face hurts so bad today. I've not smiled this much in a long, long time. What else did I have today? I actually took some notes in case it was slow today. Oh my God. What was this one? Oh yeah, here's a fun fact about our guy Vivek. Vivek, who is claiming that climate change is a hoax, right? We've talked about that climate change, and we had that dummy platforming young entrepreneurs come up and say like, yeah, it is a hoax. We need to put it's a hoax because China is putting out more CO2 and we need to keep up with them, and that's why China is winning this war, is because we need to put out more CO2. But you may be surprised that Mr. Not Bought and Paid For, Mr. I'm Not Bought and Paid For, and I can talk about climate change, has a $50 million stake in an investment firm dedicated to drilling fossil fuels. And you can't even make this up. The main fund that he's invested in, it's DRLL, drill, which is how most Republicans would spell drill. It's also what they do. They drool down their face because they don't have all their teeth. Michael, welcome.
Hey, RTP, how are you?
Could not be better. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. So I had a few questions, but I just wanted to clarify something.
Sure.
So I interviews with Vivek, and I don't think he denies climate change. I think he basically states that the agenda is a hoax, not that climate change is a hoax, and the difference has to do with what the solution is to the problem, right?
No, I think you're wrong about that.
Okay.
I watched a video. I could play the audio from a video where he's essentially saying that climate change is like reversing itself, right? I could play it if you want me to, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to it if you are.
Sure.
I actually like Vivek.
Yeah, he sucks, but I'll play the video.
You said more people are dying from bad climate change policies than there are of actual climate change. But according to a UN agency, extreme weather events compounded by climate change caused the death of 2 million people between 1970 and 2021. Can you offer a shred of evidence that more than 2 million people died from converting to clean energy?
I can offer clear evidence.
So remember, real quick, the question she asked is, can you show evidence that these people? Because what his claim is it's the policies that are hurting people, not climate change. So her question, just remember, her question is, can you offer any evidence to back that up?
That the number of climate disaster-related deaths is down by 98% over the last century. The number of people who died.
So no.
Died of hurricanes, tornadoes, heat waves, and other weather-related events in 1920. For every 100 that died then, 2 die today. And the reason why is more plentiful, abundant access to fossil fuels and technology powered by fossil fuels. I can also tell you today, it is a hard fact. None of these things.
So he called it a hoax. He said that the prescriptions are what are causing people to die. And then when asked, can you back that up? He doesn't. He then instead cites a stupid number that was hand delivered to him by the fossil fuel companies, that the reason that climate deaths are down since 1920 is because we drill more fossil fuels. Now, does that make any sense whatsoever? You're on mute. Michael, you're on mute.
Oh, well, I'd say at face value, no, that doesn't make make a point. I've watched like the whole thing. It's my understanding though that some of them stats don't come out of fossil fuels.
Wait, but can you just why do you think he is asked a claim that he made that he says he can back up, that the prescriptions of climate change are what are causing the issue, and then when asked to defend that, he said, yes, absolutely, I can defend that, and then didn't defend it at all. He just moved on.
So I'd really like to hear her question again. If it's a face value, I'm sure you're right.
The hurricane that is now approaching, you've called climate change and that agenda a hoax. You said more people are dying from bad climate change policies than there are of actual climate change. But according to a UN agency, extreme weather events compounded by climate change caused the death of 2 million people between 1970 and 2021. Can you offer a shred of evidence that more than 2 million people died from converting to clean energy?
Did he answer that question even remotely?
No, it doesn't seem like it. No.
And how am I supposed to take at face value that this guy who stood on stage and said, the reason I tell the truth is because I'm not bought and paid for, and he has a $50 million investment in a company who drills for fossil fuels. Is he not bought and paid for? So probably more so than any other person on that stage. He has more money invested in drilling, and he has more at risk in drilling than any other person on that stage.
Yeah, so it's my understanding that he's pretty straightforward. If you look at some of the other videos that this guy's in talking about it, you probably would. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No.
I think that Vivek is very straightforward when he's not being interviewed, when he has his talking points. But he is actually like, it was the most accurate description I've ever heard of him, that he's ChatGPT. He has these canned answers ready. He has deflections ready. He cannot be pinned down on any position. It would be almost impossible for anybody to tell me what Vivek's position was on anything that I couldn't find him arguing the opposite on. He doesn't appear to have any real positions at all.
So, I mean, he definitely, I don't think that's fair. I think he has some pretty great positions on stuff. But, I mean, I have some other stats I could give you, though, to try and support this idea.
That climate policies are killing more people than climate change?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So, for example, are you familiar with David Keith? Do you know who that is?
No.
So David Keith,
the actor?
No,
Professor?
He's the owner of America's largest geoengineering company called Carbon Engineering.
Okay.
And is
he at University of Chicago? I just want to make sure I have the right guy.
I'm not sure. It's possible.
Okay.
So
sounds right. He's a climate. He has a book called The Case for Climate Engineering.
Yeah. So he went on Stephen Colbert. This is probably the best way to cite what I'm about to say, but he went on the Stephen Colbert show and essentially said that they're spraying I think it was 30 trillion metric tons of sulfuric acid in the sky to basically block the sun's UV light and stop the climate from warming. And he flat out said that this is killing 100,000 people every year. So if you take that,
so the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Chemical Sciences Laboratory says that climate change is not a consequence, in direct response to what he said on the Colbert Report, said that climate change is not a consequence of climate intervention or geoengineering, that there is no evidence to support either of these claims, that geoengineering technologies are still being developed and no large-scale experiments or operations have been conducted. Climate change is driven by human activities such as burning of fossil fuels, and they have reportedly debunked the chemtrails conspiracy theory, which is kind of what he's talking about, right?
No, honestly, it just sounds like you just pulled up anything to try and discredit what I was being said. I don't think you're listening.
So I pulled up the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Chemical Sciences Laboratory, and it was their fact check of his interview.
Listen, the point is that that's the point. The claim is that the spraying of sulfuric acid into the sky causes 100,000 deaths each year.
Yeah, because he's saying it makes a methane heat trap, right?
No, so it actually has to do with how that interacts with the natural weather patterns. It actually comes down as rain. It's so funny that people even in the chat is, this claim is baseless, etc. Actually, it's the truth. Okay.
Well, how do you know it's the truth? Why are you taking this guy's in all fairness, why would you take his word? But when I'm looking at other experts that are saying no, there's no science to back this up. Why? What makes his claim better?
So for one, he's an actual carbon engineer for one. Okay. And two, you don't have to be a carbon engineer to look up how things like silver iodide, how sulfuric acid can interact with other gases in the atmosphere, like oxygen, the formation of clouds, precipitation, etc. And
that's what I just said, right?
Yeah, well, no, the point is that if there's sulfuric acid in the air, it will eventually come down as rain. And this pollutes the environment and it causes significant health risks to people. And according to their statistics, and you got to even think about this, because let's just say it is true for the sake of an argument. This guy's running one of the companies doing it. Are you really going to be quote telling on yourself? Why would he be saying, hey, when these two chemicals mix in the air, it comes down as rain, and we estimate it kills 100,000 people each year.
I don't think that that's the pushback. The pushback is not that there's not acid rain. Like everybody agrees that there's acid rain, right? That's sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides, right? When those mix, that gives you the acid.
That's one of them.
Rain.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Nobody denies that. I think the part that where you get the disagreement is when you start to make it a conspiracy, right? Or that you start to blame specific people for causing this, right? Then when you add intent to it, that's where it becomes a problem.
Yeah,
because he can't prove the intent, right?
So, no, I'm just going back to that original question that lady asked. So she said from like what 1975.
I think it was 72.
Was it 72?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, 1972 to it was like 2010 or something that she said. So the programs that I'm aware of have been going on like since the 70s. So I'm just saying, if there's an estimated 80, 100,000 people each year, I mean, you're looking
I'm saying that there's an estimated of 550 premature deaths each year due to acid rain.
Yeah, so
those numbers aren't going to keep up with the deaths from climate disasters for sure.
Yeah, well,
550 years not going to come even close to those numbers.
Yeah, well, the main point that I was just trying to make is that this is one example of a climate policy, a type of technology used to stop climate change that itself in a span of 40 years is going to kill 400,000 people. So that's just
that number's wrong. It's 500,000
people each year.
It says 550. No, it says 550 deaths a year.
Yeah, you're probably talking about just acid rain, which can be the product of many different types of emissions. I'm talking specifically about spraying 300 million metric tons of sulfuric acid in the air.
Well, yeah, but that's what causes the acid rain, right? Am I misunderstanding what you're claiming?
Yeah, so sulfuric acid is not necessarily what is meant when we're talking about acid rain.
No, but you're saying that causes the acid rain, right?
It can come down in the rain. I'm not sure if that makes it acid rain. It's just a toxic chemical any way that you look at it.
But it's the rain that you're talking about that is killing people, right?
It's one of them. That's what again, David Keith, he owns one of the largest geoengineering company in America. If this guy is saying, hey, we're spraying 50 million metric tons of sulfuric acid in the air every year, and it estimates kills 100,000 people every single year.
The problem I'm having is that number. I don't see that estimate marked anywhere. I don't see anybody backing up that estimate of 100,000 people a year.
Yeah,
that's an insane number. That's a crazy number.
Absolutely, it's insane. And the reason why he said,
I think that would be more than would that be more than opioids? I think that would be the number one killer in our country. I don't think that number's too high, dude. I don't think that number's right.
Heart disease would still.
How many does heart disease kill?
Worsen it. I believe it's a lot. So, how many does heart disease kill every year? I want to say it's close to.
I'm going to bring up one of my moderators who just he looks into this stuff. If that's all right, he may just have some other data that I don't have access to.
Okay.
Infectious, how you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Hey, Mikhail, a couple of just quick misnomers.
Can you get hey, IB? Can you get a little closer to your mic?
How's that? Is that better?
Nope.
Hold on.
Not at all. Can you guys hear him? Okay. Can you hear him, Michael?
Yes.
Is it Michael or Mikhail?
It's Mikhail, but
Mikhail? Okay, Mikhail.
And is that any better?
Yeah, we can hear you good enough.
Maybe a little.
Okay. A couple of things about sulfuric acid. One, you can't spray it in the air in aerosols. That doesn't happen. Sulfuric acid only evaporates and goes to a gas at 300 plus degrees. So that doesn't happen. You can spray liquid sulfuric acid into the air all day long, and it is not going to aerosolize into the atmosphere. Sulfuric acid that comes down from the atmosphere is formed in it. It's actually formed in the atmosphere by the gases combining in the atmosphere. Just throwing that out there.
I'm not sure how that discredits what I was saying. I think that's
because you keep saying that they keep spraying sulfuric acid into the atmosphere, and you physically can't.
Okay.
You can spray sulfur into the atmosphere, and it will become sulfuric acid when it rains. But in and of itself, if you spray sulfuric acid into the atmosphere, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to fall back down to the ground.
Okay, so listen, here it is. Here's what's in question, okay?
Over our head and use that to stop the planet warming up in a ugly tech fix.
You could spray something into the atmosphere to change.
Spray pollution into the atmosphere to stop it warming.
How do you do this?
You start with a fleet of modified business jets and say 20,000 tons of sulfuric acid into the stratosphere every year, and each year you have to put a little more. And this doesn't, in the long run, mean that you can forget about cutting emissions. We will need to rein in.
No, we'll get to it eventually. In the meantime, we're shrouding the earth in sulfuric acid.
So people are terrified about talking about this because they're scared that it will prevent us cutting emissions.
Right, and also that it's sulfuric acid.
We put 50 million.
I mean, you're literally pointing to it, and Colbert himself is making fun of it.
1 billion people a year worldwide.
Okay, but it'll be better if we put more in.
We're talking about 1 million people. Let's prevent us cutting emissions.
Let's do that one more time.
So that it's sulfuric
I think there's text up here.
We
So
put 50 million tons of sulfuric acid in the air now. That's pollution, and it kills 1 million people a year worldwide.
Okay, but it'll be better if we put more.
So that's quoting his words. That's not putting any citation.
Okay, so I actually had my number wrong. I had my number wrong. So it's not 100,000. They estimate it kills 1 million people worldwide. Okay.
But what he said initially isn't physically possible. That's the contention I have.
Are you a scientist? Do you work in a field of science?
No, all I did was looked it up.
Okay, so this is a
sulfuric
scientist.
Sulfuric acid cannot become a gas at anything below 300
Listen, I'm just keeping it real. David Keith focuses in geoengineering technology. He is a part of the groups of people doing this. Like, you're just some guy saying that, what he's saying isn't possible.
Wait,
no,
hold on, Mikhail, because you're also just some guy. And you claimed last time that you're a scientist, but you don't work in this field either. And I quoted somebody. First of all,
significantly better than most people.
Hold on. This first of all started with the idea that Vivek was right in what he was saying. He was wrong. He doesn't know any of this. So you defending this. Secondly, I'm not sure that David in that video is saying that we put sulfuric acid into the atmosphere as a means to combat climate change. I don't think he said that. I think that he's saying that as a world we put that much into the atmosphere. Is he saying that that's used to combat climate change, that all of that sulfuric acid is put into the atmosphere to combat climate change? Is that his claim?
And he said twice that a part of the reason why so the answer is yes. And the reason why
I don't know. Wait, no. Why is the answer yes? He didn't say that. He did not say that we are putting. No, he didn't say that we're putting sulfuric acid into the atmosphere as a way to combat climate change.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what he said. Would you like me to play it again?
Acid into the atmosphere. You cannot inject it into the atmosphere. It's liquid. It is liquid at anything below 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Right?
So listen. Would you like me to play the clip again?
I don't want to hear the clip. I want you to deal with what I'm saying. I want you to contend with the fact that I just threw at you. Sulfuric acid is a liquid at anything below 300 degrees.
Hold on.
Saying we're throwing superheated.
Hold on, real quick.
Acid, like 400 degrees sulfuric acid in the atmosphere.
Mikhail, sulfuric dioxide is released during the burning of fossil fuels, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when he's talking about the total amount of sulfuric acid that's put into the atmosphere, he's talking about the burning of fossil fuels. He's not talking about something that we are doing together to combat climate change by putting sulfuric acid into the atmosphere. That's the claim that you have to defend. You have to say that what we're doing to stop climate change is killing more people. This is burning fossil fuels is not something we are doing to combat climate change.
Yeah,
it mixes with the hydrogen in the atmosphere. It
oh
leaves,
my gosh, man! I'm not gonna be able to talk. This infectious keeps coming in, man.
I didn't hear you speaking. I'm sorry. I was just.
No, I thought he asked me a question. Maybe he was speaking.
When sulfur dioxide, a CFC, gets injected into the atmosphere, which is a gas. When sulfur dioxide goes up there, it mixes with hydrogen, and it becomes sulfuric acid and becomes heavy.
So let me see if I can.
Down as rain.
IB, let me see if I can put this together. So let me see if I can connect everybody's points together. So what IB is saying is that we can't put sulfuric acid into the atmosphere. There's a process by which it has to happen. I think we all agree on that. I don't know shit about this, but I think you agree with that, right, Mikhail? That like you have to. There's a process in order to get sulfuric gas into the atmosphere, right?
It has to bond with the oxygen in the air.
Okay. So I think you guys. Okay. So we agree on that. The claim is that sulfuric acid, I think where we're having the disagreement, is that it is being put there as a way to combat climate change, right? I think that's where the contention is, because what I'm reading is, and again, not an expert, what I'm reading is that the burning of fossil fuels is largely responsible for why sulfuric acid is in the atmosphere, and burning fossil fuels is not a prescription to stop climate change. So that wouldn't back up what Vivek is saying. It's just saying that, like, this is a problem.
And that's all I came in for, Jay. I just wanted to kind of direct some science your way so you knew where to go from there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, IB.
Yeah, so I listen, what I'm trying to tell you, okay, is that essentially it's called like stratospheric injection. It's also called solar geoengineering. And I'm telling you, this is where there is like sulfur dioxides, or commonly called like aerosols, right, which are put in the atmosphere to reflect sunlight and cool the earth.
So that's stratospheric aerosol injection?
Yeah, and the point is that these dioxides are in fact.
But that's But are we actually doing that? Because everything I see is that, like, and what he's talking about in the clip that you mentioned is that's a proposal. It's not even him saying we're doing that. He's proposing that we do that.
Oh my gosh, dude, should I play the clip again, man?
Play it again. Yeah. That's why Stephen Colbert is saying, like, dude, you're saying put more sulfuric acid in the atmosphere. He's proposing that we do that, not that we are doing that. He wants to do that. Right?
No, he's saying it is already being done. They put 50 million tons in the air now, and it kills 1 million people.
No, you're missing that. The 50 million tons includes emissions from burning fossil fuels.
No, it doesn't. Yes,
it does. I'm looking at the number right now. I'm literally looking at it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're not. Let me show you again, okay? Let me show you again. All right. So I'm going to make sure this is loud enough. Here we go.
I can just read it. He said we're already putting 50 million tons of this stuff into the air as every year as day to day. I'm reading the quote. Hold on, stay with me. We are already putting 50 million tons of the stuff into the air every year as day to day pollution. These are his words. The man you're quoting, he says we're putting 50 million tons of the stuff into the air every year as day-to-day pollution.
Okay.
So now you're arguing with me and him.
Okay. So listen, what you're doing is setting up a straw man. The context.
I'm quoting the guy that you brought. That's not a straw man.
Let me finish.
That's not a straw man, dude.
The context of his statement is in reflecting sunlight to cool the earth. That's the entire context of his statement, okay? The point is that they currently put this in the air now to block the sunlight. This is what geoengineers do.
That's not his point. You're wrong.
Okay.
I'm reading his quote. I'm reading it.
Yeah,
it's day-to-day pollution.
Spray something into the
Let's hear
atmosphere to change.
It's clear.
Spray pollution into the atmosphere.
That's what you're saying.
Stop it warming.
How do you do this?
Spray pollution in the atmosphere.
Hold on. You stopped it too early. You stopped it early. You stopped it early. Keep going.
Okay. All right. That's totally fine. Spray pollution to stop it warming.
Now keep going.
You could spray something into the atmosphere.
Here it is.
To change.
Ready?
Spray pollution into the atmosphere to stop it warming.
Oh, to stop it
Keep
warming.
Going.
Oh, to
keep
stop
going.
It warming. You said
Mikkel. This is Mikkel. He is suggesting that we do that. He's not saying we are doing that. He's saying you could. This is the whole thing. He is making a suggestion. You're wrong, dude.
Dude, I'm so sorry, but you're cognitively.
No, you're wrong.
Can't even
he
hear
is suggesting that we do it.
You told me.
You. This is twice now you've come on here using your background as a scientist and made like the dumbest fucking claims. You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm reading the full quote. I'm reading everything he talked about. He is prescribing that we do spray it. That's what he's prescribing. He's saying that the 50 million tons of stuff in the air that's there now is day-to-day pollution.
Okay, so listen, when they're spraying this into the atmosphere to stop the planet from warming, they do this as pollution. That's what it is, and that's what he's talking about. See,
Sorry, I've knocked my headphones out, so I can't.
Yeah, so listen, there's no need to get like upset with it, okay? When someone is trying to say that we spray pollution in the atmosphere to stop it warming, that's not how you described it, which is that
that's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying, dude.
And you want to convince minds, but all you do is speak over me.
It's not what he's saying. Because it's not what he's saying.
I'm sorry that being a scientist bothers you.
You're not a scientist, dude. What's your degree in?
I've told you.
Yeah, you work in food scarcity. You work in food scarcity, right? So what's your degree in?
Food insecurity. Dude, that's my agriculture, food insecurity.
Okay, so you don't know shit, but you quote everything wrong. Last time you were a fucking geologist and you thought that like showing sedimentary levels proved that there was a worldwide flood, which nobody agrees with you there. And why can I'm reading his quote exactly? No, Mikkel, shush. I'm reading his quote and you're misquoting him, and because you don't understand what the science is, you're misquoting him. You showed me a little clip that obviously the reason, Mikkel, you're showing me a clip, and the reason it's cut off, Mikkel, is because it's meant to misinform you. That's why you're not showing the whole clip.
I will show the whole clip.
Then show the whole clip.
That's not.
Then show the whole clip because I'm reading his quote.
Dude, that's not a problem, host. Not a problem. I'll show the whole clip. I was just trying to address the comment about pollution, right? You said, well, pollution was talking about just like, like jets and airliners. And I'm saying, no, the pollution was.
What is day-to-day pollution? What is day-to-day pollution?
Oh my gosh. Can you let me finish?
No, what is day-to-day pollution? What is day-to-day pollution?
Dude, you are literally
What is day-to-day pollution?
I'm going to tap out soon because speaking
Of course you are, because what is day-to-day pollution?
Modified business jet and say 20,000 tons of sulfuric acid into the stratosphere every year.
Here's the rest of it.
Each year you have to put a little more. And this doesn't...
Go back.
Okay.
He said, let's say, these are all prescriptions. These are not things that are happening. He is advocating for things right now. He is not saying this is happening. Listen again to the words he's using.
A fleet of modified business jet and say 20,000 tons of sulfuric acid.
Stop. A fleet of modified business jets, and they're putting, let's say. This is a prescription. This is something he is suggesting. This is not him describing something that is happening. We do not have a fleet of small business jets putting, let's say, right? He is actually prescribing something. Keep going.
Okay, all right, good. I'd love to keep going because he states they are still doing it.
Keep going.
And each year you have to put a little more. And this doesn't, in the long run, mean that you can forget about cutting emissions. We will need to rein in.
No, we'll get.
Yeah, you'll have to still rein emissions.
Yes, he is saying, he is advocating that we put more sulfuric acid in the atmosphere.
Here it is.
As a hold on, as a temporary stopgap to keep ourselves safe. His prescription is that we put more sulfuric acid into the atmosphere as a temporary stopgap, and he immediately follows that up by saying this would not solve our problem. We still have to cut carbon emissions.
Yeah,
he is literally giving you a prescription to a problem. He is advocating for his position. He is not saying this is what's happening. It's like you're a scientist, but like you forgot how conversations work.
Dude, it's so amazing that you think me as a scientist doesn't understand it better than you.
Yeah, you don't understand English.
Ready? Here it is.
Right, and also that it's sulfuric.
Here it is. Ready for a statement?
We put 50 million tons of sulfuric acid in the air now as pollution. And it
as pollution! What the fuck? What are you doing?
Listen.
Every time he backs me up. Every time he backs me up. Every time you keep playing the clip, he says what I said already.
Oh my gosh.
Host, oh my gosh. Yeah, dude.
Very dense. Will you please let me finish?
As pollution.
Yes, as pollution to stop the climate from warming. Did you not hear his statement?
Go back. Every year, he said every year we put 50 million tons as pollution.
This is your problem.
So, are you saying that he? Are you saying that he thinks? Hold on. Are you saying that there is like this worldwide effort to put 50 million tons into the air? Like we're just putting sulfuric acid. Like that's all we're doing. It's not as pollution. It's not because of the burning of fossil fuels, which is what he says, by the way. No. Which is what he says in his book, by the way. This 50 million tons is in his book, and he says it's. And I quote, we're already putting 50 million tons of the stuff into the air every year as day-to-day pollution.
To stop the climate.
No, that's not what he says. You're adding that. You're adding shit that he doesn't say.
Okay, so then here it is. Let the whole world be the judge. Am I adding this? Am I adding this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ready? Here we go.
A fleet of modified business.
Here it is. Ready?
20,000 tons of sulfuric acid into the stratosphere every year, and each year you have to put a little more. And this doesn't, in the long run, mean that you can forget about cutting emissions. We will need to rein in.
No, we'll get to it eventually.
Here it is.
Meantime, we're shrouded.
Here's the full quote.
In sulfuric acid.
So people are terrified about talking about this because they're scared that it will prevent us cutting emissions.
Right, and also that it's sulfuric acid.
We put 50 million tons of sulfuric acid in the air now. That's pollution, and it kills 1 million people a year worldwide.
Okay, but it'll be better if we put more in.
We're talking about 1% of that.
1% more, we're just killing 10,000.
What's 1% of 50 million?
What happens to the sulfuric acid after it's sprayed? Does it just stay up there?
No.
Why
yes,
are they
yes, okay, stop, no, stop. Stop, shut the fuck up. He is literally advocating in that video. He is saying he wants to put in an additional 20,000 tons of sulfuric acid, which would make up less than 1% of the 50 million that we already put in the atmosphere. He's literally advocating on this show right fucking in front of you to put in 20,000 more tons. That's the number specifically that he said. And what Stephen Colbert is saying is like, wait, we already have too much of this. Why would we put more? And he's saying, I know we need to add a little bit more and people are scared, but that's less than 1%. And what it will do is it will buy us more time. The 50 million is not what he is advocating putting in. He's not saying we're putting it in. He's saying 50 million is day-to-day pollution, and I want to add another 20,000 tons of sulfuric acid as a temporary stopgap while we address climate change. That is his entire point. And you, the fucking scientist, and me, the political scientist, like, somehow you're missing that. How are you missing that? You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
My only statement, host, is that this is in regards to. I haven't even said my statement yet, and you're already laughing, dude. You're so.
I asked you a specific question. How do you like? No, Mikkel. I asked you a question. I'm laughing because you won't answer it. Did he not just say? Did he not just say that he's advocating for adding 20,000 tons of sulfuric acid into the atmosphere? Is that not what he just said?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then what he said right before that was, we already have 50 million in day-to-day pollution, so adding 20,000 tons is less than 1%. Right?
Dude.
Is that what he's saying?
Oh my God. No,
You're wrong.
Host, because he calls it pollution to stop the climate from warming. What are you missing?
Actually spray sulfuric acid in the stratosphere 20 kilometers over our head and use that to stop the planet warming up. And
this is a prescription. Yes,
to stop the planet from warming up. So the pollution is to stop the planet from warming up.
What is he advocating?
Dude, to spray sulfuric acid as pollution.
How much?
He said that you have to add 1% more each year.
20,000 tons was the number he said.
No, they're currently spraying 50 million metric tons.
No, they're not. That's day-to-day pollution. You're too dumb for this.
My gosh.
Like, dude, I swear to God, this is how did you go to school and you don't get this? No, dude, you don't get it.
But you are the one that doesn't understand.
No, everybody knows you've lost. Yeah. Everybody knows you've lost.
Really,
brother. Okay. God bless whoever you're working for. I hope they don't require you to understand the English language, because this is the most simple thing ever. I'm not even a scientist.
Oh
everybody agrees with me.
It doesn't.
No, you're making yourself look really, really bad back-to-back times. Last time you thought sedimentary rock proved a global flood, and now you're showing up playing a quote in full context, and everybody knows that you're wrong, and you're like, no, we're spraying sulfuric acid in 50 million. We're spraying 50. How much sulfuric acid could we produce a year? How much sulfuric acid do we produce a year?
I'm not sure but Carbon Engineering says that they put in 50 million metric tons.
Who does? Who does? Who puts in? No, who puts in those tons? I'm
pretty sure the name of his company is called.
No. Where do the 50 million
Carbon
tons of
Engineering.
sulfuric acid come from?
I'm sure they manufacture it. What
The
do you mean?
burning of fossil fuels with day-to-day pollution, which is what he says in his book.
No,
You haven't even read his book. Mr. Scientist hasn't read his book. Read the book. No, go and read the book and come back. You're literally basing this on a Colbert interview that you've misinterpreted. In his book, he says the reason we put 50 million tons of sulfuric acid is from day-to-day pollution, mostly by burning fossil fuels. That's what he says. He disagrees with you. Literally everybody disagrees with you, including the person you're citing.
You're just setting up a straw man, man. That's not correct.
I've read it to you 10 times.
It's
not a straw man. Those are his
video for you.
I'm reading his book.
Okay.
I'm reading his book. So he was more right on Colbert, but in his book he was wrong. No, dude.
Okay.
Is there a scientist here? Do we have a scientist here that can come up and explain it to him?
Listen. First off, it's actually true that sedimentary rock can be formed in moving water. So number one. And number two, this Carbon Engineering puts in sulfuric acid and it kills thousands of people every year. Okay,
that 50 million, according to the guy you cited, he said that 50 million tons is due to the burning of fossil fuels in day-to-day pollution. Those are his words, not mine. You're arguing with your guy. You're arguing with your guy, not me.
And that's
You're arguing with your guy.
Wow, RTP.
Do you want me to read it again? Do you want me to read it one more time? Do you want me to read it one more time?
I played you the quote. What do you mean read
I'm
it?
reading his book.
We heard him.
I'm reading his book. Okay. I'm reading his book. Do you want me to read it one more time?
No, I played.
No, of course you wouldn't. Yeah, because he was wrong in his book, but he was right when you misinterpreted what he said on Colbert. This is a bad argument, dog. This is a really bad argument.
No, you're just really bad at having a discussion. All right.
No, you're really wrong. He ran away. Runner. The fuck. God bless whoever that guy works for. God bless him. Welcome, Blitzker. Is that what it was? Blitzketeer. Are you there? Brits Zerker.
That's me.
There you are.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey,
I was reading this. Just listen to that guy. There's an MIT technology review that goes over this whole thing, and it's exactly what you're saying.
Well, MIT, they're not very reputable.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah.
What's the study? Could I look it up? What's the study you're looking at?
It's MIT technology review, a cheap and easy plan to stop global warming, and it's exactly what this guy, David Heath, is in there. Keith, is it Keith or Heath?
I think it was Keith. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's saying that. He's talking about the same thing, using jets to put metric tons.
They're talking about him specifically. Just so we're clear, according to Keith's calculations, if operations were begun in 2020, it would take 25,000 metric tons of sulfuric acid to cut global warming in half after 1 year. Once underway, so again, it wasn't underway. This is something he's proposing. The injection of sulfuric acid would proceed continuously. By 2040, 11 or so jets delivering roughly, so here's the jets he's talking about, the fleet of jets, delivering roughly 250,000 metric tons of it each year at an annual cost of $700 million would be required to compensate for the increased warming caused by rising levels of carbon dioxide. By 2027, he estimates the program would need to be injecting a bit more than a million tons per year using a fleet of 100 aircraft. Yeah, so exactly what I said.
And it says right here, 15 million metric tons of sulfur emitted by burning of fossil fuels every year. I mean, it's saying the same thing. The guy was just going ballistic. Weird, but it's kind of how they are. But
I don't get it.
Like, listen to you, though.
I appreciate it. Thank you for bringing that up.
Right on, dude.
All right, we'll see it. Look, for everybody who discredits Google all the fucking time, and for people that want to come up and stand on their degree, look, Google's really good. Google is really, really good. And all you have to do is have an open mind and just add the word fact check to like anything you search. If there's a weird claim, just add the word fact check. You'll get a fact check, and you'll get the sources that they used to fact check. I'm guessing MIT's also lying, though. MIT's also lying about this. Mikkel, I hope you're still here, and I hope that you heard what was just said there. What's up, Jay?
What's going on, man? Woo,
How
that gave me a headache.
It's
And I hate to say it, I'm one of those. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think global warming's as serious as the government tries to make it out to be. First of all, it's one of the least funded programs, and it's kind of like that gift you have to get somebody at Christmas that you really don't want to, but if you don't, you just kind of look bad, so they just give out. But that's just my opinion. But my question is, and it's not a debate, I hear everybody talking about Biden. I hear everybody talking about Trump or the GOP. Do you know any candidates in the independents that you think would be great for America?
I kind of liked Cornel West. I don't like what he has recently said. He's kind of had a back and forth with Bernie Sanders. The problem I often have with third-party candidates is that they think that if they attack everybody else for working together, that's like a good criticism. I don't think it's a good criticism to say the right and the left work together to pass bills. I think that when we do work together to pass bills, we're better off. Like during the Clinton era, we were much better off when we had some bipartisanship. These third parties like Cornel West, and he doesn't even seem to be like a legitimate candidate. He doesn't even seem to be working to get on the ballot. I've voted third party before. I voted for Gary Johnson in 2016, and I actually thought Gary Johnson would have been a good president, but I also understood that he wasn't going to win. So I'll listen. I don't know much about Jill Stein when she ran. I don't pay a ton of attention to third-party candidates, but there's no shot for them to win. Like, we have to be realistic.
Oh, no, I agree with you, but I know somebody in the comments said voting third party is a waste of a vote. Well, not really, not with the way my state's set up. I'm in Alabama. We already know it's going to be a red state.
So, I mean, I'm not. Yeah.
My thing is, I'd rather waste my vote on somebody I believe in than give it to somebody I don't want in office. Because then, I can sit there and say, well, at least I didn't vote for them.
Yeah. No, I think that's reasonable. Yeah. I lived in Utah, I could vote for, I think I voted for my neighbor one time because I didn't want to vote. I think it was the first election I voted in. I didn't want to vote for Obama or McCain. I was a Republican at the time. And I don't even know why I didn't want to vote for them. I think I was just thought I was cool and voted for my neighbor. But yeah, it wasn't going to matter because McCain was obviously going to carry Utah.
Well, I just noticed earlier in the live before y'all just had that episode there, somebody mentioned, what can we do to bring Americans together? And I think one of the biggest things people would actually do is research more of these independent candidates running. And they may not win, but I think if more people would actually research who is actually running, and it's not just Republicans, it's not just Democrats, because there's a lot of people that are leftists that don't really always side with the Democratic Party. There's a lot of conservatives don't side with the Republican Party, but nobody, and especially the media, they're terrible about it, reporting independent people that are running that really have no affiliation with anybody other than the fact they just have to pick a party in order to run.
Yeah, I would probably have a little bit different prescription for bringing people together. I would say research facts would be good. We have, unfortunately, we've always had spin. There's always been political spin. There's always been like a certain amount of dishonesty in politics, maybe leaving information out or taking a stat to mean more than it means. But now we have a party that is completely run on conspiracy theories. And I don't know how to come together with that because the conspiracy theories actually are that like people like me are like eating children and are evil and we're demons and we support like just unaliving babies all over the world, and that our main goal is to make all of your kids trans, and that there's this demonic evil force that is behind us, and we're trying to destroy this country and turn it into a Marxist hellhole. Like, how do you combat that? When somebody legitimately says that, how do you combat it?
Well, and the same thing for like conservatives. That I get thrown under the bus for being more conservative than anything, but. Because I'm conservative.
What are the unfair criticisms do you feel like that you get as being
people think, because I'm conservative, I don't support human rights, and that's not necessarily true at all. Like, I support every human having. That's like we talked about last time I was online with you. I support everybody having equal rights. I don't care what color you are, what sexual orientation you prefer. I don't care. Now, I do lean more conservative because, let's face it, I'm from the South. We hold on to conservative values. I like a lot of the conservative values. That's just a personal decision of mine. But I still believe everybody should have human rights. So just because I'm conservative doesn't mean I line up with Republicans.
But what are,
for example,
could I ask you a question about the conservative values that you hold on to from being from the South? You said you're from the South, like you hold on to conservative values. Which, if you look historically at the conservative values that the South has hung on to, which one of those values was worth holding on to?
Like for me, like being a Christian. I hold on to godly principles. I think that our country was founded on those. I think they're great morals. So a lot of people, and you could have that argument back and forth. It all depends on which side you want to believe in. I'm okay with anybody believing what they want. And like I said, it's a personal decision for me and what I believe. So, like I said, standing up for still godly principles and morals and,
So what would like those godly principles be that you feel like the government's involved in that you need to stand up for?
Well, I guess like godly principles, I don't have a problem with the Bible being in school. It should be an elective, but it should still be there.
Wouldn't that go?
I mean, you can put the Quran in there if you want to.
Wouldn't that go directly against what our Constitution says about establishing a religion?
Because you're not establishing a religion.
Sure it is. It's Christianity, right?
I guess in a way, but at the same time, establishing a religion, I think it means like what it was talking about was basically coming over here and saying, hey, we're going to be the Church of the United States, like they had the Church of England that you had to follow.
Okay, but like, would you be okay, like, if you're going to allow the Bible to be taught in school, shouldn't you also teach the Quran?
Yeah, that's what I said. It should be an elective, but it should still be allowed. Yeah.
Okay, and what about like the teachings from like Scientology?
Sure, it should be an elective, absolutely.
Okay, so you're saying that Bible classes should be an elective in school, not that they should be taught in school, but you should be allowed to have an elective. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. I think most people would agree with that. That's fine.
I mean, because, for example, me growing up Baptist, I don't want, if I had kids, I wouldn't want them to be taught, Catholicism in church. I don't think you should be able to teach what doctrine somebody should fall under. That's a total different element.
Okay. So then that wouldn't necessarily be like your Christian beliefs that are legislated. That would be basically saying you can't legislate against my Christian beliefs. You can't tell me that I can't have an elective class. That wouldn't necessarily be so again, so then I would say like when you take your Christian beliefs that are actually legislated, like I don't think you probably support the government legislating your beliefs, right?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so that's where like a lot of times with conservatives and liberals where we have a broad disagreement. And I think that and I think you actually do a good job of this, where you can take your personal beliefs and you can make room for other people's beliefs. But that, unfortunately, in conservatism, you can't really do that, right? On the left, I can do that. On the left, I can support all the policies I support, and I can still support you having like a traditional Christian home, whatever that means to you, as long as you're not trying to stop other people from living the way that they want to. So when you say come together, I honestly think it's fair to say to the right, like, you've got to capitulate. You don't get to hold your values and make laws based on your values. On the left, we're making laws based on equality, and on the right, they're making laws based on values. And that's where it's impossible to come together, because in order to agree with the right, we have to advocate that some people are not going to have the same treatment as others. Right?
Exactly.
So if there was a conservative that was running, like let's say Mike Pence stood up there and he's like, listen, I am pro-life. I'm 100% pro-life. I believe that the 10 Commandments should be how everybody runs their life. And at the same time, at my school, like if there are trans kids or trans teachers, that's fine too, because that's their belief system. And I'm going to make room for everybody's belief system, including my own. Well, that's a Republican I could get behind. But there's no Republicans that do that. None. They can't. And the reason they can't is because if they say that, they'll lose support. Because there's too many bigots on the right.
See, when I say I'm conservative, but it's like I told you last time in your life, just because I don't agree with something, like I am pro-life, but just because I don't believe in something doesn't mean somebody doesn't have the right to believe differently or do differently. Just because I don't agree with it doesn't make it wrong.
So the thing that it sounds like to me is it sounds like your personal beliefs fall within the right generally, like you're very conservative, but your political beliefs are very liberal.
Yes.
I'm a little surprised that you don't vote for Democrats, because your belief system falls along liberal lines, even though your personal beliefs, like your political belief system, is very liberal. Your personal beliefs are conservative. So if you're saying that, like, no matter what your personal beliefs are, you're going to vote for the rights for others, I am a little surprised that you vote Republican.
I don't vote Republican. I don't vote Democrat. I'm independent.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying, like being conservative.
But, I mean, you have to, if you're going to vote, because there's not like a third party candidate for like almost all positions that you're voting for are either going to be Republican or Democrat. So when you do vote, are you taking this into consideration that you're like, all right, Not which one closely mirrors my personal beliefs, but which one is going to allow for my personal beliefs and everybody else's personal beliefs. Is that part of how you vote?
It was this last term. Yeah. Usually that's how I vote. Like, for example, I did not like Biden. I didn't like the Obama administration. I didn't like the Trump administration. So the way I looked at it from that one, I'd rather write Mickey Mouse for the White House than either one of them.
Right, and like you said, in Alabama, it didn't matter. But let's say you lived in my state. Let's say you lived in Arizona, and it's going to come down to the wire, and it's either going to be Biden or Trump. In that scenario, now you'd probably agree that you wouldn't vote third party if you felt your vote was going to decide it, right?
Right. If my vote were to decide it, I would have went Trump.
So let's
just
say,
because I liked the economy at the time.
Well, the economy was dog shit at the time when we were completely locked down at that time.
Yeah, but at least gas was $1 something.
yeah, nobody was using it. But the question is, like, if that's where I'm saying, like, maybe Jay, like, maybe some reflection, because if you would have voted for Trump in that scenario, then what you're saying about, like, I want to make sure that, like, my beliefs are protected and everybody else's, you're not voting that way. You were voting to protect your beliefs over the beliefs of others.
Exactly.
So I'm saying in that scenario, the moral choice for you, given your beliefs, would have been to vote for Biden.
If I would have had to, maybe, but I wouldn't have. I mean, I look at a lot of things that goes to election. I don't look at just who the president is. I look at the whole. Like,
I know. I'm just staying on this particular one because you said push come to shove, you would have taken Trump. But what I'm saying is that maybe reflect, like, maybe that isn't the way that you vote. Maybe the way that you vote isn't that you just vote for whoever's going to give everybody the same type of respect and rights. Maybe you do vote on economy first. Maybe that's your number one issue, and you would pick the economy over the person who's going to expand rights.
Oh, probably so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I was saying. Like, I don't want to tell anybody how to vote. I'm just saying that if that really does become the way that you think, that's your number one priority is giving everybody equality or respect or whatever it might be, and not picking on marginalized communities, I think it's going to be really, really hard in the future to vote for Republicans because they're anti that.
I mean, in this generation, and it's just my opinion being independent, it's hard to vote for either party right now because everybody's always at each other's throats. And instead of trying to come together, instead of trying to even come together, they would rather pick apart each other. And that, to me, is the biggest downfall that has ever happened with government, is instead of trying to work together, they always want to try to work against each other. And that's never going to work.
Sure.
And it's like, we were talking about earlier, there are good Republicans out there. There are shitty Republicans out there. Same with Democrats, like you being, on the left. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things I'm sure that happens in the left party that you do not agree with, that do not just
certainly
sit with you. But at the same time, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's people in each party that we don't line up with everything. Like, for example, me being a conservative, I don't line up with everything a conservative believes at all. Trust me, I know. I've been told. Just like there's a lot of liberals that aren't like, because that term liberal is being misused so many times now. There's a lot of liberal people I know that do vote for people's rights, but don't agree with a lot of the stuff that some of the liberals, I guess if you want to call them part of the woke culture, agree with.
What would maybe some of those views be?
Like the men that identify as transgender going into men's restrooms or women's restrooms. I have a lot of Democrat friends that are like, that don't sit well with me, no matter what they identify as, because then it leads to other problems, such as what happens when a male identifies as a transgender goes into a woman's restroom and rapes somebody. For them, it's a.
Can I ask you a question about that? Could I ask you a question about that? Do you think that it's possible that that the people who are let's just say transphobes, and I'm not saying that the people who hold this position are transphobes, but there are people who are transphobes. Do you think that it's possible they have weaponized that scenario that almost never happens in order to get people to not support the rights of trans people? Like, off the top of your head, how many instances could you name of a time when somebody pretended to be a different gender to go into a bathroom to harm somebody? Could you think of a bunch of scenarios like that happened off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, no.
Okay. Now, the second question to that is, could somebody do that anyways? Could somebody dress up, like whether there's trans people or not. Could somebody dress up? Could a man dress up in a wig and a dress and look like a woman and go hide out in the women's bathroom?
Could they?
Yeah, could they now? Like at any point in history, could that have been done? Of course,
I'm sure
right?
it could have
Like,
been
of
done.
course. Yeah. So the thing is this hypothetical is meant. It's not meant to say like. It's not meant to be a delineation point. There's no person who supports trans rights that's saying like we need to let people, including people who are harming people, identify however they want in order to go whatever bathroom they want. They're saying that like, hey, look, there are trans people who don't feel comfortable in the bathroom of the gender that they were assigned at birth. They'd rather be in this bathroom, and all they want to do is go take a shit or take a piss. That's what they're doing. They're not going in there to harm anybody. So the reason that they don't talk like that and just talk about the real issue is that there is an issue. When bathrooms are binary and you are a trans person, that gets tricky, right? Especially when somebody cares only about your genitals and not how you identify. So that's the real problem. So if the argument against that is that, oh, it could be corrupted so that kids could get hurt, well, literally that it already could. That already exists. That's existed since we've had female bathrooms, right? That possibility has always existed. It's not a new possibility. So it's used. That's what propaganda is. It's a scenario that is unlikely, but also that could have happened at any time during this world. Is it being used to get people to not support trans rights? You know what I mean? Like nobody is going to disagree with you. There's not a trans person on earth that is going to disagree with you that we should not support the idea of somebody going into a bathroom to harm anybody, no matter how they identify. It's a source of division that exists for one reason and one reason only, and that's to divide. Like that story is not realistic.
Fair enough. I mean?
So why do you think so many people use that specific example as to why they don't support this woke agenda? Why do you think so many people use that exact same example?
Well, I think a lot of it, like I said, I've even heard the same argument from a lot of Democrats, which is what I said. I think a lot of them use it because people still do have, and I hate to say it, and this I guess where the conservatives going to come out of it, there's old school values where, I can't say because last time I said it, I got that the banana.
Got that old banana.
I think a lot of people still hold true to a lot of old school values.
Let me see if I can do it in a way that won't get that sex is binary, that there's male and female, and that's it, right? Is that what you're kind of trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. And it's okay, like if you have that old school view, fine. But again, if we're gonna, the argument itself is disingenuous, because if we really cared about protecting children, if that's honestly what we cared about, then the things we know we could do is maybe the number one thing: don't ever let your kids have sleepovers. Don't let your kids be unattended around other adults. Don't let your kids be one-on-one with other adults. If you're talking about a place where a kid is most likely to be abused, don't let your kid go to church, right? Don't let your kid be around ecclesiastical leaders. Don't let your kids be involved in Boy Scouts. Educate your children at an early age. Educate them to know what consent is, to know what certain sexual acts are and how they're perpetrated, and how somebody might try and lure them into sexual acts, what those sexual acts look like, so they know when it is a sexual act. All of these things that we know specifically would drastically reduce the amount of children who are being abused. Conservatives are wildly against us. They will not. They won't think about any of those policies. But this imaginary one of people pretending to be a different gender so they can go into public bathrooms and hurt children, that imaginary thing that almost never happens, we have to focus on that. It comes off as very disingenuous when Republicans refuse to acknowledge, especially the things that they value and how those things are hurting children, but they want to talk about bathrooms.
And I agree with you. I mean, and for the people in the comments, again, I never said these were my thoughts or feelings.
I know. So what I'm saying, I guess the question is then, the stat I saw yesterday showed that children being abused this year, 301 of those were done by ecclesiastical leaders, church leaders. 3 were done by trans people. So if Republicans, and this is the question I'm going to ask, like this time I'm going to ask you, Jay, if we're statistically looking at what we should do to protect children, should we get rid of churches or should we get rid of trans people? Statistically.
Oh, again, I never said.
Sure. No, I'm not asking. No, I'm not asking you. I'm just wondering. Like, I'm not telling you that you need to take a view on this. I'm just saying, statistically speaking, between us, like, which one makes the most sense?
Statistically speaking, get rid of churches.
Get rid of churches,
but,
right?
But again, like, what I was saying, just for let me clarify for people in the comments, because I'm getting called all kinds of names in there by people. I never said trans people were the problem. What I think will become a problem, or could potentially be a problem, not saying it would be, is if they are not fully transitioned and we allow men that want to identify as women go into women's restrooms, you're going to have those predators that are going to use that as a scapegoat. And I'm not saying they would. I'm saying it's potential.
Yeah,
so I can see where people...
But that potential already exists, right?
Not as prevalent as...
No, it exists easier now because all you would have to do now is put on a wig, put on some women's clothing, some makeup, and even then, like, nobody's gonna see a woman that looks masculine and be like, you can't go in there, because like there's women who look masculine, right? Like, this problem that you're talking about, it's not like if we allow trans people to exist and to choose whichever bathroom they want to choose, it's not going to exacerbate a problem that already is possible. Like, it's already possible in an easier way. It would be easier to just dress up than it would be to transition, right? Whether you're during transition, like middle of transition, start of transition, end of transition, that's actually difficult. If you want to be a predator and you want to get in a women's bathroom or a man's bathroom, all you have to do is dress up like a man or a woman. You don't even have to be trans. So the thing is like it discredits trans people, and it makes it more difficult for actual trans people, out of the fear that people will use trans people as a reason to harm kids. But we already know that could happen. And secondarily, again, how can you support banning these type of like bathroom policies when we know that statistically speaking, you should ban church first? If it really was about the children and not about hurting trans people, you would ban churches.
And I can see it's a fair argument. And like I said, a lot of it, again, for the people in the comments, I never said they shouldn't be allowed, because it don't matter. It don't make a damn to me what they do. Because it really don't. Like, I'm just using it as a talking point. It's not like, and me and Jay have talked before. He'll tell you, I am not your ultra conservative that gets on here and feels like if it goes against my beliefs, then y'all are wrong. I've never said that one time. And like I said, again, it does come down to personal beliefs and convictions, but those are my personal beliefs and convictions. And my personal beliefs and convictions should not dictate what another human is able to do.
Right. And all I'm really saying, Jay, is like when you have conversations with your conservative friends, maybe bring this stuff up. Because like I don't have that opportunity. But like if you have conservative friends and they talk about like bathrooms, maybe you bring that up. Say, hey, look, this isn't a real problem. This already exists. And statistically, you're more likely to be harmed at church. So if we're really gonna do this, if we're really gonna start banning things just to protect children, we've got to ban church and see what this. Maybe start offering that little tidbit to conservatives. If you really do think like we need to come together, then it's not going to be incumbent on me. Like I can only control so much. I don't have any control over who requests to come up here. But you, surrounded by conservatives, you actually could change people's minds. You could bring people together. You could bridge that divide a little bit. And if we had conservatives and liberals working together to make sure that everybody had equal rights, I think we're in a better place. Right? But I think you could do that more effectively than I could.
And I'm going to say this, then I'm going to jump off here.
Sure.
Number one, people that were making comments about how I vote. Number one, I don't vote Republican Party. I can't stress that enough. I do not vote Republican. Okay. Number two, somebody said, I do believe people shouldn't have equal rights because I hold on to Southern beliefs. Well, just because there are certain Southern beliefs and that's what I believe in doesn't mean I hold you to the same standard that I hold myself to. And if I believe in something, doesn't mean I'm going to force my belief on you.
I appreciate that. No, I believe you. And I just say, like, try that out with a conservative friend. Do me a favor and see if you can bring that up with a conservative, and then come back and let me know how it goes.
Probably about the same way you and the other guy had an argument.
Probably, but let me know. I want to hear about it when you do it.
Hold on, a vote for Trump.
No,
Jay. Okay.
I got a box full, so I gotta let you go. But Jay, I enjoyed it.
All right,
Come
man,
back
I'm
again,
gone,
please.
brother. You have a good one, man.
You too. We'll see you. Bye. All right, gem of a jewel. Hello, gem of a jewel.
And how are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
He confused me so much because he literally did tell you he would vote for Trump. So that tells you right there that in the past 2 elections, he more than likely voted for Trump. And this idea when they talk, and I want everybody, because you have 947 people in here, this idea of
welcome everybody. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Yeah. This idea that being conservative or voting to conserve something means that you're conserving or protecting something that is not needed to protect. If you personally don't agree with the lifestyle of another, you don't have to. But when you vote against other people's rights, when you vote against civil rights, human rights, women's rights, educational rights, you are part of the party that continually votes against American people. That's the point. So your idea that you're conserving anything is utter nonsense. You're not conserving anything. You're harming American people.
Yeah, that's kind of like what the Constitution there is for, as a general framework to conserve how our government works. But there was no ideology that was meant by the founders to conserve. They didn't try and have an ideology that we all had to strive to conserve. They made a framework. That's what's worth conserving, and that framework has to include progressive policies and adaptation as the world changes. That was the whole reason that it wasn't as specific as it was, is because they understood it needed to be adaptable and that the world would change. So exactly. I agree with you, yeah.
In addition to his comment about teaching Bible in school, the Constitution literally states separation of church and state for a reason. I don't care if you want to teach your children how to cook naked in the wind. If you want to do that in your privacy of your own church, go do that for you and your family, but do not thrust it down the rest of us. I mean, I'm tired of this biblical crap. If you're going to teach the Bible, teach it in the parochial schools, the schools that are private, the schools that you guys keep wanting to get your tax breaks for, teach it there. It does not belong in public schools. And if you're going to want to teach Christian values, then you better be prepared to teach everything from green witchery to
to naked baking, apparently.
Yes, naked baking, howling at the moon 101, whatever it is that you want to teach your kids, do that in the privacy of your own religious beliefs. Stop shoving it down everybody else's throat.
Can we call it naked bakey?
Naked bakey would be great. I don't even know where I pulled that out, but I was so frustrated listening to Jay because they literally talk out of both sides of their mouth.
Yeah.
They cannot come into rooms like this and say, no, I'm fine with everybody's rights being their rights, and then vote for a party. And I want everybody to hear this. You don't have to listen to RTP. You don't have to listen to me. Go look at the voting record of your Congress. Go look at what they're voting against. Go look at the facts that women are dying because they do not have access to health care in Mississippi, but the California women do, because it was codified into law that the women in California have a right to privacy, have a right to bodily autonomy. And a woman in Mississippi should have the same rights as a woman in California. They should be protected, and you as men should be protecting your wives, your sisters, your daughters, your friends. You should stop the bullshit about conservative. And if you really think that you want to do something, then go ahead and go out into the sun and conservatively apply sunscreen. Otherwise, sit down and shut the fuck up.
Amen.
I love you.
I love it too. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. See ya. Conservatively apply sunscreen. It's been a good day. We've had after yesterday, I needed a good day. This has been terrific. All right, Gleb, you're next. I see you, Triple D. Looks like Mitch McConnell, somebody hit the pause button on him again today for about 30 seconds. That's not ideal. I'm watching the video now. It's not good. Hey, Gleb.
Oh, hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I hope you're having a wonderful afternoon. I hope you're having a wonderful live stream. I just showed up on my For You.
Gleb, could you possibly get a little closer to your mic? It's hard to hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just my headphones. They're
okay.
hand me down, so
that's all right. Just maybe speak a little louder.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm just driving and it's like 4 hours to where I have to go. So
wait,
no,
you
I'm using
can't.
headphones. I'm using headphones.
I know, but
I'm
you
using
can't
headphones.
drive.
Don't worry.
You can't drive. You're gonna have to pull over and come back, or I'll get kicked off. Sorry, Gleb. Gleb, if you're there, you can't be driving, or TikTok will get me in trouble. So no disrespect for you. When you pull over at some point, call back in, and I'll bring you up. But you just can't be on the line driving, or I'll get in trouble. I think. I don't even know if that's a real rule, but everybody says it is. So Katrina, all smiles. Welcome.
RTP, I am sorry. I know that you want opposition, but
No, you're good. I'm having a good day. We're good.
I am so sick and tired of libertarians. Like, they make my ass itch. It's like, you guys are so Republican is ridiculous. It's just like, and to me, I understand if they came in with an argument that says, like, I vote libertarian because X, Y, Z, and D. It's always Republican values. Always. Like, it's just so annoying. And it's like, I want you to just say it with your chest. I am a conservative. I like the fact that I can be racist when I feel like it. I don't want my kids learning that, leftist stuff. I will have more respect for you. And again, I understand sometimes why Republicans hate us. I get it, because I'm a leftist. I get it, because sometimes we have to correct you. These are decades.
Also, I'm going to say something too. Like, I'd like to add, sometimes leftists are the fucking worst. We're not all great. Some of us are fucking awful. Let's just say that, like, we understand that on our side, we got some annoying ass people too. We get that, but keep going.
And they'll correct you in a minute. Like, yeah. I mean, and it's like, and then, like, I remember one time I got upset with this guy who was a Republican, and I called him the R word. Oh my gosh. Like, later on that night, I went into Tommy's live and I saw a girl that was in there and she wouldn't even let me down. Like, trust me. I get it, Republicans. I totally understand that we have to correct you sometimes, but you guys have decades of disrespect that we have to correct.
Yeah.
If
you had a good run. They had a good run.
They did.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta understand, like, men was like, it was okay in the men, like, in the 60s to literally sexually assault women. It was cool. Yeah. And they were able to keep their jobs. So we have
sometimes get promoted. Yeah.
Exactly. And become president of companies. So I totally understand that it's annoying, but we still have to correct you. And we're not going to allow you to keep walking around being a fascist and racist and, being against the trans community. We can't just allow it.
We've moved past that. Yeah, we've gotten a little better. So we're gonna fight back against that. And I know that's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. Like, libertarians, they make my ass wholly itch. It's like, just say that you're a Republican, please. Just please.
Also, just a reminder to everybody: wash your ass. And if you've washed your ass and it's still itchy, there's probably a libertarian in your midst. Yeah, there's probably a libertarian around. That's what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. But I just wanted to come up and say that, like, that guy Jay, I'm like, oh, you're so Republican, just go sit down somewhere. But okay.
Yeah, I'd like to point out to anybody who's just coming in. My name is also Jay, so I want to be clear that I'm not the Republican Jay. I just want to be clear on that. Yeah.
No. But yes, I just wanted to come up and say that I love your lives. I will be subscribing Friday when I get paid. So
thank you. You don't need to do that, but thank you.
I will, because I love your work. So thank you so much. And keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Did anybody see C Note's comment? Did anybody see that? What the fuck? Scroll up if you want to see C Note's comment. I don't know if I can read it on here. Is there any opposition in the box? I know that there's some that isn't. Raise your hand if you're opposition and you're in the box. Just give me like a hand emoji there. C Note, you mother. C Note, that's so gross, dude. Don't repeat what he's saying. Don't repeat it. Don't do that. All right. Fee's opposition now. Hands up if you're opposition, please. I don't. Do I see any? I haven't seen any. Just give me a hand emoji. The problem with Republicans, I don't know if they all know how to use emojis. Sometimes it's like a boomer one, and they can't bring up. Stop. Now you guys are just confusing me. See Jonesy. All right. See Jonesy. Welcome. You liar. You fucking liar. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, Jay.
Hi.
How are you?
Wonderful. I'm getting lied to a lot today, but I'm doing all right.
I'm not lying. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
Go ahead.
Alpha males are amazing. Okay. The GOP is doing a great job. Okay. My rights are intact. Okay.
Sure. Completely. Yeah.
I can go
You have
down
nothing to complain about. You're doing great.
nothing whatsoever. Yeah, just sitting and talking, listening to Jay, the other Jay.
Yeah.
Like, was it Katrina? She needs to come to the Discord. We need her at the
Katrina,
Discord.
come to the Discord, please.
Come to the Discord. We need you there, honey. I just, it blows my mind to listen to conservatives claim conservative when they're just only Republicans. They care about themselves. The individualism blows my mind when it comes to quote unquote conservatives. Like, you're only thinking about yourself. What about the collective? Like, there's no more middle class. You're either poor or you're rich. Like,
yeah.
My husband came home from work yesterday. He works in the justice system, let's just say that. And talking to his coworkers, finding out that they know nothing about what Ronnie DeShitstain is doing here in Florida. They don't know that he's running rampant. He literally just jumped into, hijacked the memorial for those 3 people that were unalived in Jacksonville. Just for
the crowd loved him. They just absolutely loved him.
They chanted his name and such wonderful epithets and such.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's crazy to me. And they just loved on him so gently the entire time he was there.
Yeah, look, let me stand up for Jay a little bit, because the only thing I'll say about Jay is that, like, it's really hard on a whim. Like, it's hard to be confronted about your views and change those views. And I think this would happen for me as well. Sometimes you have to sit with it. Sometimes you have to take that time. And I'll give Jay credit. Like, he's come back with a different, every time he's come back with like a little bit different perspective. And he is moving, like, he does move his perspective. I will give him credit for that. And I believe him. Like, I believe that he's going to try and have this discussion with, like, an open-minded conservative. And so sometimes that's all we can do. There are conservatives who will respond like myself. Like, the way I got out of conservatism is I got embarrassed. I got embarrassed by thinking that my facts were good, and then I just got dump trucked. And then I realized, like, hey, maybe I should check all of my views. And then I went through my views, and a lot of them evolved because they were just based on hyperbole or some sort of, like, catchphrase or propaganda. They just weren't based in reality. So I do give props to somebody like Jay, somebody like Mr. Pear, who come in our Discord, have different views, and show up every day and slowly evolve. Sometimes that's all we can do, but I do agree with you that it's frustratingly slow.
Yeah. The trans in the bathroom thing always sends me smooth over the edge. 'Cause I never understand it. Whenever I go into the restroom, my children have to use the restroom, I'm right there. If I'm not in the stall with them, I'm right there. It's not about trans people. It's literally just predators out there being predators.
Were you here yesterday when Woke Jesus was here? Were you here for Woke Jesus yesterday?
I was here for Woke Jesus.
I thought that stuck with me all day when Woke Jesus was like, hey, if your kid is in the bathroom and you're not either in the bathroom with them or standing guard at the door, you're a shitty parent. Yeah, good point. Good point.
Agreed.
And if your kid's not back out in, like, the appropriate amount of time, like, raise a little hell. Start shouting your kid's name. Whatever you want to do. I don't know. But just be a good parent.
Yep, that's all you can do. That is all you can do. That's true. Oh, also, just a win in my book. I am slowly getting my husband far left. He is he's very moderate in the middle, and he has some conservative views. But yesterday I had the most major win. He came home from work and he's telling me, babe, you're like really, really far left. And he starts telling me the things that he believes. I said, baby, you are too. Okay?
Welcome to the party.
You're like, welcome to the club. Like, just come on over. Stop being so scary. It's fine. It's good over here. We drink Mai Tais and we smoke bud, and it's a great time. Okay.
Hey, amen to that. I'm with you. Maybe I'll do that right.
But I'll let you get back to trying to find some opposition.
I appreciate it.
enjoy you. We've weaned out the racist at the Discord, I think. So y'all come on over. It's a good time.
Well done, Fee. Fee got that racist out of there so fast, so it was good.
Yeah.
Well done, Fee. Everybody
job,
give
Fee.
in the comments if we could clap for Fee. That would be great.
I was a little sad that day. I thought that something was gonna go left because I was there for that.
Yeah.
But Fee took care of it marvelously. But I was a little sad for a little while after that.
I appreciate that. Okay, thank you so much.
I'll be hanging out in the comments.
Okay, bye. What did somebody? The Discord link isn't working in my bio. No surprise there. If the Discord link isn't working, just shoot me a DM. I'll get you an active one. And it looks like I have to update the Discord link again. Surprise, surprise. I still see Triple T. I still see in there. There's one more. This is, who do we got here? This is Ave Maria. That's
You
a great
are
song.
the first person who said it right.
Thank you. I know the song.
Oh, it's my favorite song. And people
It's
keep calling me
beautiful.
Ave Marie. I'm like, is it something on there that I'm not seeing?
Yeah, well, you're probably talking to conservatives. They don't read that
Oh,
way.
bless their hearts.
Yeah.
Look, I'm from the Deep South now, so I'm very familiar. When I was growing up, we went to Jimmy Swaggart's church. So
You do really?
yeah, so I'm very familiar with the way their minds work. So I've been noticing an uptick in conservatives coming into liberal spaces. I don't know if I'm the only one that's noticed it. Maybe it's because it's an election coming up, but I don't recall this much engagement with conservatives constantly coming in liberal spaces. I remember the last election well, the last two actually. And I don't remember this type because there was a sort of isolation thing going on, whether you can't sit at the table with us thing was going on, and they wanted nothing to do with anyone that was not a full-throated endorser of Trump. That was them. But think about it this way, and I couldn't figure, I was like, why are they always here now? During the time since Trump came down that escalator, you have people who have become alienated completely from their families. They have lost marriages. I saw a video where a man lost his wife and his home because 6 months before the payments were over to buy the house, he got a second mortgage to donate to Trump. They've been married for 40 years. She left
I saw that story. That's
sad.
fucking crazy.
Just sad. People have listened to Trump and lost their family members to COVID. They've lost their family members to following that bullshit advice he was giving them.
Yeah.
You have over 1,000 people in prison right now because Trump was constantly saying, I'll pay for your lawyers, I'll pardon you. He has forgotten about those people. Everyone that comes in contact with him ends up in prison or disbarred or disgraced or broke. And I think that the weight of the indictments, just the sheer weight of them, deep down, a lot of them know that he's guilty.
Have you seen the movie Fargo?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, Trump is the wood chipper. and his followers are like in line to be in the wood chipper. They're like,
so
oh,
sad.
that's a beautiful red paste coming out of there. This is what I want.
Oh,
MAGA.
it's
Like
so
Trump is the
sad.
wood chipper, but the difference is the MAGA doesn't seem to be afraid of the wood chipper. It's like this portal to like some heaven they think that they're getting to. But
It's so sad. I actually made a correlation between Jim Jones and Jonestown when when the congressional delegation went to Guyana.
yes,
Jim Jones never told his henchmen, his followers, his security, he never told them to go assassinate those people.
sure,
He didn't have to
yeah,
because his personality had become their personality. And so they instinctively knew what they needed to do, not because it was right, but to please him. And so what I'm telling them, they ran out and did it. Okay? So there are a lot of MAGA, the personalities have become, Trump's personality has become so enmeshed with theirs. He doesn't even have to say it anymore. He doesn't have to tell them what they need to do. They know.
Yeah.
He can make suggestive language, and they instinctively know to go out and do it. Just like Jones' followers, they never even took into account whether they could be unalived, whether they could be hurt, whether something could happen to their children. Nothing.
Yeah.
Their ultimate
You guys all know
desire-
David here. David's biggest regret is that he wasn't there on January 6th. David has a wife who, I believe that, like, I know she immigrated, and I think he's told me, like, her English is tough. Like, she doesn't have great English, and kids. And his biggest regret is not showing up on January 6th. He could be in jail right now. His family completely unsupported, but at least he would be there for Trump. Like, he'd maybe have Trump. He got to sing in that choir when they sang that god-awful, they did that god-awful, what was it, God Bless America, whatever that rendition was. Maybe it was the national anthem. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's people that honestly think that. Like, they're willing to sacrifice their families for this guy. To me, it's more like, it reminds me of Charles Manson. And the loyal dedication and this idea that, like, he's so enlightened, and that if you just keep following him, eventually everything's going to work out. And you completely ignore just the trail of bodies and the trail of destruction and the trail of, like, ruined lives that are in his wake. You don't look back. You just look forward. Don't look back at all this shit. Just keep staring forward, and eventually everything's going to work out for you. But don't you dare look back.
I don't know. I would kind of lean more towards Jim Jones, and I'll tell you why. It's because he ended. It's because of how he ended. Because when all his followers were drinking the Kool-Aid, the cyanide, everyone who drank that in Jonestown, all those people perished. But there was one person who didn't die from cyanide poisoning. They died to a bullet to the back of the head.
Right.
That person was Jim Jones.
Right.
Because he got all of them to do it. But when a few of his followers noticed that he wasn't doing it, they demanded that he drink it too. And he refused. And so they unalived him. Because his plan was to let all of them die off so he can go somewhere else and start all over again.
Yeah, you're right. Jim Jones is a better answer. Jim Jones is better. You're right.
And it's so sad. And I think some of these people that are in the comment section, I think there are three groups of people. There are the ones who are in complete and utter denial. They're still in Guyana. Their brains are in Guyana. But there's also a group who misses the camaraderie, the relationships that they used to be able to freely have with people who didn't think like them. And they've become isolated in groupthink. And these new groups that they're in, you have to do exactly what everyone else is doing or they kick you out. And then you've already alienated your family, your friends. And so a lot of them are trying to figure out how to reconcile with their families and be part of a real world again. And they don't know how because they've been out of the loop for so long. And then you have the other ones, the third people, which I think a lot of them are too, who want to be able to be accepted back into the fold, but they want to also be able to still never apologize for the damage that they've done. So they want a free pass to get back in. So they come in with the same belief systems and they try to be nicer about it, but you always know who they are because when they're not winning you over and you just won't let them be there and accept them, they always trigger and they always switch.
Right.
So that, in my opinion, that to me is the three groups of MAGA people that are constantly in these spaces now that were never there before.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
no, I've noticed that. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, and that's all I had to say because I know that you would do opposition. Sometimes they're up here and I'm like sitting at my desk windmilling the air because I'm like, oh, just let me get them. Let me get them. And I was like, oh, that's right. He said just opposition, just opposition. It hurts my fingers to not hit the request to come in because it's like I'm doing I'm literally sometimes I windmill the air because it's like, just let me get them. Just give me 5 minutes. And I have to follow the rules. I have to follow the rules.
You got to get them all out at once. It's a little quicker.
Yeah, I'm
like
like
that. Yeah.
really ticked off. And of course, it triggers the lawyer in me. I love arguing with people.
No.
I love arguing with people. It gives me life.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, I argue for a living.
Same. I hear you.
Yeah. So, and I like it when you're in bad moods, by the way.
Thank you. I was in a really bad mood yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it. It tickled me.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
But I'm hoping there's some more opposition coming in. I got free wind space to windmill. My dogs are taking a nap, so I can windmill freely.
Fee's given me the join the Discord message, and I talked to her about this yesterday, and she let me know that when she gives me the join the Discord message, that's particularly about whoever the guest is. So that means that the people in the Discord would be really anxious to have you join it. So if you want to do that, shoot me a
I don't even
DM.
know how to do any of that. Y'all have to tell me.
Shoot me a DM. I'll walk you through the whole thing.
Because I'm middle-aged.
Yeah.
Which means I'm a Gen Xer. We don't know new developments. We just,
It's a cool place, but shoot me a DM. I'll walk you through it. And then once you're in, you'll be like, this is the easiest thing ever.
Okay, I got to write the name down so I forget that too, because sometimes I have menopausal brain farts. So.
Well, just shoot me a message right now. Just go send me a message and say, how do I get in the Discord? And I'll walk you through. I'll get you the link and all that stuff.
You have to show me where to hit the thing to send a DM.
So click on my name. All right. So
okay.
Fee's gonna send you a DM right now. Fee, will you send?
Okay, I'm confused. All right,
we'll do that because I can't send a DM because I'm on live. So Fee will.
Now the DMs are gonna be in my inbox.
Inbox, that's correct.
Okay, because I rarely look at the thing. You have to tell me to go look. So
okay,
right, and I'm okay. Don't laugh at the menopausal old lady. I am going to when this live is over, when this live is over, I'm gonna check my inbox, and then I'm going to go and figure out how to do this. This is sad.
No, it's not. This is wonderful.
For me, it's sad. This is embarrassing.
You've got other Gen Xers taking notes down here.
I am taking notes. I mean, undergrad, law school, masters of law, and can't figure out how to go join a Discord.
That's all right. It's not that
all
important.
Right. I'm gonna give
we'll
myself.
Get you
I'm
there.
having a high flash. I'm gonna give myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm having a high flash.
I enjoyed it. You're wonderful. Thank you.
And I'm in San Antonio, so I'm having a real high flash. Come on,
really.
folks.
God bless you. Yeah. Well, I'm in Arizona. I think it's supposed to be about 117 today. So we'll do this together.
Well, you know what? I came here for my mom, and last year. From San Diego, I was out there by the beach having the best time. I came down here to be with my mom because she was in Louisiana, and her and my dad passed away within 3 months of each other. She passed away in April, and now I'm like, when my lease is up, I'm out of here.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm out of here,
and I'm really happy you get back out. But I'm sorry
I can't even go see Barbie where I live because they said it was too woke. It was a movie theater across the street with 19 screens, and not one of them was showing Barbie.
It's just all Passion of the Christ all day.
What's the other one?
That awful QAnon one.
Oh, that was there on 3 screens.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah.
Oh gosh,
Jesus. All right, anyway. Well, come back west. Come back. We'll take you out of here.
Okay, thank you guys. Come on, opposition. Stop being chicken.
That's right. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. I get that Gen X cred. I'm basically Gen X. Delete. We all love her. Make sure she gets in the Discord. Everybody make sure you were following her so we can get her in the Discord. What's up, Delette?
I'm not really supposed to be up here, but what's the GOP? I just want to know.
That's the Republican Party.
Okay.
Grand old
That's
party
all I wanted
is what it
to
stands
know.
for.
Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good.
Bye.
See ya. All right. What? What do you want?
I'm going to own the libtard. I got a message from my higher up that Donald Trump sent me a message that I need to own the libtard. So I'm here to own the libtard. I wanted to join Discord and let that woke Barbie. Man, she's something else. We got to keep her out of the theaters.
Yeah.
We can't have her running around here being woke.
What should we have in the theaters instead?
Oh, what's that movie with Jesus Christ in it? It's with the child. What is it?
Trafficking Jesus, Sound of Freedom.
Yeah, that's it.
Sound of Freedom.
Yeah, the Sound of Freedom.
All
and
19
we need to bring back my new national anthem. Try that in a small town.
Oh, great song. Really good song. That's a really, really good song. I'm glad you brought that up. It's really terrific.
I just want to say you have real pretty teeth, sir.
Thank you. All of them. I have every single one of them. All the ones I was born with, they fell out and they came right back. I got all of them. Yeah.
That's real good. They look real pretty.
Yeah, you make sure you go swim in that hurricane, okay? Get out there. Stop that hurricane.
I'm trying to. I'm swimming as hard as I can. I love you, RTP. I love you, but I'm going to own the libtards. I am.
All right, low tide, roll tide, baby.
Low tide.
Oh, thank you for the donation on PayPal there. By the way, I do have my PayPal tip jar and Cash App in my link tree. Thank you for whoever just donated through PayPal. That was very nice. Fee, hi. Fee, you could not have come at a better time. Do you know why?
You have to go to the bathroom.
I have to pee so bad. So you do your thing. I'm going to go pee.
I know. So if any of you want to talk to me directly, I can bring you up as well. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say, if you follow me back, I saw Ave Maria, and super cool lady. I messaged her the link. So if you need the link, you can follow me, and you can unfollow me once you get into the Discord if you want. So I'm happy to chat with all of you. Thank you for the gifts, Bree. You don't have to do that. I deeply appreciate everybody. I missed Jay going radical yesterday, not going to lie. Oh, wow. I'm getting very, very sweet. Thank you. Thank you. It's a cool Discord if you want to join. Lots of different people. Do we need to be subbed for the link? No, you don't. It's completely free. And we're hoping, well, it will always stay free if I have my 2 cents, and I do. So come and join us in the Discord. There are lots of activities. We're planning for political engagement. We have a book club going, which is super cool. And then we get to like razz on Jay during the lives, but it's an opportunity for all of us to get as engaged, both in politics as well as other social engagements. And that's it. So if you want to follow me, it's free. You can unfollow me after you get in. I just sent Ave Maria the link, and we'll get another one in as well.
Sorry, that took me a minute. My very
Did you
real...
wash your hands?
I did, but my very liberal girlfriend.
For the amount of time it's subscribed to, dude.
What's that?
We have got to send you. It's got to be 30 seconds of washing.
Listen, I don't wash my hands for 30 seconds. I think that's ridiculous.
Well,
what do you do? I didn't get extra germs.
Shake your hand when we
I showered this morning. I'm like, it's relatively clean, but my very liberal girlfriend makes sure that I have to sit down and I have to take a quick picture. It has to be a certain level of clarity. I can't have much yellow in there or else I get in trouble. So
well, that's kind of a good rule, actually.
Yeah. Well, you have to. And again, no standing up, because if she can't stand up to pee, then I can't stand up to pee. So that's the rules.
Yeah.
So
okay.
All right.
Well, shake and bake.
That's don't say shake and bake when you're talking about somebody big.
Well, my God, you got me on some of the ex-Mormon stuff that you told us about soaking. I will never take a bath without thinking about y'all.
Yeah.
So,
you're welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
That's so sad. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to go now. Bye.
All right.
Hold on. I'll dump myself out.
Thank you. Where's my opposition? I might have scared the opposition away there.
No, there wasn't anyone in the box. You can't blame me.
No. Somebody jumped up like 2 seconds ago when I said, see you later. And then you left. Was RTP a big soaker? I wouldn't say I was a big soaker. No, I'm trying to think. It didn't really have a name when I was single. I don't think nobody really talked about it. It wasn't so open. But no, I was not a big soaker. I don't think I definitely didn't. No, I definitely didn't ever soak. I was trying to replay some things. I had some weird experiences, and sometime on it, probably a Discord call. I think I've actually done it on Discord. I don't know if it was on Discord or on my backup account. I have told people about the 2 times. Thank you, by the way, for the donation, Jay Hamlin. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much. On Discord or TikTok, I do believe I told the story of the 2 times I lost my virginity. And if that sounds surprising to you, don't worry. There was kind of a third as well. So there were a lot of strange things about growing up Mormon, and that's the story. You have to join our Discord if you want to know. Thank you. I'll be back tomorrow for some comedic history. It's Woke Jesus. Oh, did Woke Jesus get banned? Woke Jesus. Yeah, I did see Mitch McConnell froze again. I was watching that. I don't know who that poor woman was that was handling him, but she tried to shake him out of it, and he just kept staring off into the distance. And then she just didn't know what to do, so she just stood there and held on to him until somebody hit the unmute button or the pause button. I don't know. That's probably not. Oh no! Oh no! Mitch McConnell froze, and now now elder abuse is trending. Let me see if I can. I don't know if it'll. I don't think I can really play it. I can try. Let's see. It doesn't usually. No, it probably isn't going to because I have the green screen background on. It's not going to let me do it, but I can show you. This is what it looked like. For like 30 straight seconds. That's what it looked like for 30 seconds. He just stared, and then people come up and talk to him. Oh my God, I haven't seen the end. Let me hear the end of this. Hold on one second. Let's see the end of this. I think once he comes out of it, they ask him and he says, "I'm good." So he says, "Okay." He snaps out of it. They ask him if he's okay. He says, "Okay." Turns back to crowd. He says, "Okay." And right back into the distance. He's having a bad day. This is not a good time to be Mitch McConnell. All right. Michael or Renaissance, are either one of you guys, Renaissance, you're a subscriber, so probably not, but I'll bring you up next. I'm going to go Michael and then Renaissance. Michael, welcome. They got a cowboy hat in there. I feel this may be a trap. What's up, Michael?
Hey, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you doing?
Not bad. I'm just sitting here. I was listening, and some of the comments your guests have made, I can agree with, and it's been my observation as well, where she said conservatives or MAGA going into these spaces, she's seeing an uptick in that. And I think a lot of it is maybe there's such as myself that I'm a Republican, but I'm not a Trumper, but you actually can learn a lot by going into these spaces. Not that you agree with it all, but I find coming into these spaces that you guys are much more up to speed on the details, whereas MAGA, if you go into those spaces, it's just MAGA. That's it.
I don't know what to do right now. Never had somebody say something. I don't know what to do right now. I think you're right. I think that as a Republican, like, how do you go about trying to get the rest of the Republicans and MAGA back on the same page with you, or can you?
It's very difficult. I've received tons of opposition and terrible comments, and I just ignore it for the most part. I did get one nasty death threat, sort of say, from one guy espousing the Civil War nonsense. But one thing I can say is the more I post about it and speak about it, the more Republicans come out and say, "I'm with you. I'm done with Trump."
So what are the kind of things that like you're posting about that you feel strongly about?
A lot of things, like for one, he's a horrible person. Two, I don't believe he's actually seriously running for president. I mean, he left office with a 37% approval rating, never attained 50 since the beginning of the Gallup poll in 1930. He's the only president never to reach 50. Is lost by 74 electoral votes and 7 million in the popular vote, and the midterms did not yield any results to show momentum. Lost 4 of the 5 governorships. Red wave in the House didn't happen, and gave them a solid majority in the Senate. And they think after 91 charges and 4 indictments that he's going to somehow pull off a miracle.
So if you sorry, did you take that?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So if you had control of the direction of the Republican Party and you felt like you needed to get them back on track to start winning elections, what are some things that you would focus on, and what are some things you would leave behind?
Well, I think they need to go to their party platform, and I don't think it's been updated since 2016, which it still embraces Donald Trump. If the GOP takes Donald Trump and puts him as our nominee at the Republican convention in the middle of these court cases and even some convictions, it will take years and years to ever recover from that. Why more of them don't come out and start distancing themselves from him is beyond me. And if you look at that debate stage, the only one in reality that I could truly get behind is at 1%, because he's a decent man.
Who's that?
Been married to his one wife for 50 years, Asa Hutchinson.
Oh, okay.
And he's at 1%, but he's the nearest one to an actual Republican conservative that is polar opposite from Donald Trump.
Yeah. I honestly don't know that much about Asa Hutchinson. I'm trying to remember, there was something I really didn't like that he said, but I can't remember what it was during the debate. Somebody would have to tell me. But I can at least appreciate that asking that people at least be honest. We can disagree on views all we want, but if you're at least you're going to be honest about what's really happening. If you're going to be honest about what Donald Trump is trying to accomplish in the GOP, I think I can respect that out of Hutchinson. Again, I didn't hear him talk much, and I don't know a ton about him.
He is one that came out and said people shouldn't be talking about pardons and putting pardons out there in their campaigning. He said that shouldn't be part of your campaign pitch. He's got a long record to look at. He was the first youngest, I didn't say that right, youngest ever United States attorney. He went after a white supremacist group. There was an armed standoff, and he went in person and negotiated a closure of that event. I mean, he is a good guy, but he's not Trump, which plays on these people's identity to the point where, that's why they call it a cult, because it's the psychology of it. He's like a fantasy figure.
What are his views on like some of the polarizing issues? Like if we're talking about like abortion, for example, where does he stand on that?
Well, being in the GOP and as a Republican, I'm sure he's of that platform pro-life. But if you go back to Clinton's presidency, I think 1990 was the year we had the most abortions in this country. Until look at 2020.
He would sign a federal abortion ban. Okay. Yeah, that's probably going to be that's going to be tough. Like, do people in the GOP recognize that just that stance alone would basically cause them to lose any election?
Yeah, it's very tough. That's a very divisive subject, and it's always been. But with Roe v. Wade and going to the states. I know politically has been damaging for the GOP, and it'll be interesting to see which way they go.
How do you take, so obviously the move was that it would go back to the states, but then Asa Hutchinson is basically saying, well, I'm going to do a federal abortion ban though. How do Republicans square those two viewpoints where the argument was send it back to the states, but then a lot of them are standing up there saying like, we're going to ban it federally?
I would say that's probably they're going to take some hits for that politically, and it's going to take some years for that to play out to see if they're going to maintain that stance or if they're going to back down from that stance. Depends on how it goes politically, but my gut tells me that it's probably going to start steering away from that because
you have to, because it's a losing position, right? Unless the country somehow takes like a hard turn right, you kind of have to abandon it, right?
I think so, but at the same time, like I was saying, if you look at 1990, I think was the year of the most abortions under Clinton. But if you go to 2020, it was a fraction of that amount of abortions. So at least it's progress, perhaps because of medical things in which are more common for birth control or better education or people to be more responsible, has resulted in far fewer abortions than from 1990.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, the more liberal we've got on that, the more progressive we've got on abortions, we've seen those numbers drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody would agree the fewer abortions is a good thing.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, even just from a standpoint of having a procedure done at all, like anytime you can have less procedures medically, that's a good thing.
Sure.
So whether it's moral or not, and that's the part that with Republicans that I've tried like figuring out on many of the positions. I think the issue that most people have that it would be anti-Republican is that they can look at data, they can look at good data that shows that something is working or would work, and they will vote against it if their own personal beliefs don't tie to that, right? Like we talked about earlier, the idea of abusing children. Like if you want to stop abusing children, get rid of churches. But of course we're not going to do that. We're going to go after trans people. And I think when I left the GOP, that was one of the biggest revelations to me, is that most of what I believed was not backed by actually good data and parenting, like keeping your kids safe. Everything the GOP does, it seems, when it comes to children, very little of it is to keep children safe, but instead to protect their own personal beliefs.
One last thing, and I'll jump down.
Sure.
I know a lot of people attack Republicans. I don't get offended by that because I understand the political climate today and that our brand has somewhat become toxic. But just remember, throughout our history, a healthy two-party system has brought great change.
Yeah.
Because of one side or the other, could be Democrats versus Republicans or vice versa, has brought some great leaders and great change. We do need a healthy two-party system, and it's really sickened me to see what has happened to our party.
I agree with you. I think that's a really, really good point. No argument for me there.
Okay, man.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it, Michael. Thank you.
You bet. Bye.
Yeah, let me play devil's advocate for a second. If I was the GOP, if I was looking at the future of the party, I would abandon all of this anti-trans stuff. I would abandon abortion. I would abandon the religious stuff. And what I would focus on is I would build a party platform about wasteful spending, like a good border policy, and that border policy may involve legalizing drugs. It may not. And I would also focus on ending the military-industrial complex and ending big pharma. Republicans could do that. Republicans could make that change tomorrow. They could have actual conservative policies that supported those things, and they would get more support. And to Michael's point, it is true. Like having two strong parties who stand for something, and those things being good things, that is what makes our country better. We're better when we're like that. If you had a bunch of Michaels in the Republican Party, we'd be in a better place, right? And that doesn't mean because the left would win, but it would mean we could find common ground. We can all find common ground with Michael. We can all find a spot where like we can come together and agree like, yeah, it's not ideal for me, but it's fine. But the problem with the right and people like Vivek Ramaswamy, who we talked about starting this, is that they're going hard right. They're going hard right to positions that are untenable and unpopular. And I think that's the real problem that the Republicans have. Renaissance Revolution. That doesn't sound like a very conservative name.
Yo, we'll it's Woke Jesus. They banned me.
Oh, what's up, Woke Jesus? Welcome back.
You won't even. So, like, this is why I like your live and other people who are like you on the left. Like, I'm not political, man. I'm a human being. I think I made that clear the other day.
Well, you're half God. Don't forget that.
Well, we all are. And that's what we all gotta
that's
remember,
right,
man. You know what I mean? So it's like Mitch McConnell. Let me get him out of the way first. All right. Okay. So the word bitch, bitch, right?
Yeah.
It's lactating female dog. As far as I'm concerned, that's a badass creature, bro.
Yeah.
Yo.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? She sustains multiple life forms.
9
You know what I mean?
babies, 9
So you
babies,
call me
just
bitch,
taking
I'm
care
cool
of
with that. Just
business.
call me Mitch if you're trying to insult me. There's Mitch McConnell. Look at him. Just look
Yeah.
at that slob of a meat sack and just imagine what we think of as a bitch today. I think it more closely defines what Mitch McConnell looks like and is. Never mind what he's done for the destruction of his own cabinet and his own side. Now, that conversation you just had with that man was the most productive conversation I've heard on TikTok yet. And why are you not running for fucking political office is my next question.
Yeah. It's a complicated answer.
You have signal.
I don't have signal, no.
Get it, and maybe we can talk, because there's some things going on. I've been involved in political shit for the past 20 years. If you really want to know what Antifa is, I can give you some knowledge. Antifa started out as a non-affiliated political organization about 20 years ago, 2006, right? We were going to go out. We had senators and congressmen for each state that were going to win the midterms. After the midterms, we were going to win the presidency, and we were going to abolish the deep state, abolish the feds, abolish all that shit. You know what I mean? To make it equal, right? The feds found out about us, and they implemented COINTELPRO. They sent their agents in. They arrested the 7 leaders. They sent them out, and you will never find this anywhere online. You will never find this anywhere. They sent the 7.
That was an FBI project, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So they sent the 7 of us back to our county jails where we were born, not where we were raised, right? And there's a reason for that too, and that has to do with Freemasonry and all that secret shit. But we don't have to get into that stuff because that may be misinformative for some people. So what happened after they locked us up without a federal ID number, without federal charges, they locked us up for 3 years. Out of those 7 people that were locked up in mental institutions and county jails across their home states, only 3 of us made it out. Out of the 3 of us that made it out, only 1 of us is willing to talk about it today. Because the other ones have families. I have a family, but I chose another path as far as not being quiet, because I seen where this was going 20 years ago. And it's gotten to the point where we have to unite. It doesn't matter what we label ourselves as, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after that happened, the 4 that didn't make it out, 2 of them are no longer with us. The 2 that are still incarcerated got longer time because they were attacked by other people in those prisons and had to defend themselves, and they ended up getting longer sentences. Some of them are in mental institutions and are like vegetables. And we're getting to the point where, like, yo, I'm getting attacked by both sides, man. And it's just not like when we need to come to some common ground, like you just spoke, like if devil's advocate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we need a lot of people to come around to that realization that it's getting that bad. It's been this bad, all right? And all we need is to have debates and not attack one another under what we label ourselves as or what policies we follow, but really like get down to the core of humanity and what we are, right?
So were you part of like the New Left? Is that?
We were the founders of what they call Antifa today. We did use that as a acronym of sorts, right?
Antifa or the New Left?
No, it wasn't what they call Antifa, the organization. And so after they arrested our 7 leaders, they implanted their own. And then they turned them into a terroristic organization like they are labeled today.
Okay.
And I got out of being locked up. I tried to call the kids in Seattle that were doing what they were doing. They still didn't listen to me. They attacked me. I'm like, yo, the only people who can take over a federal courthouse are the feds, bro. I don't care what you say. Like, look at January 6th. They even had help from the feds, and they still couldn't do it. The only people who take over a whole city, as allegedly like Antifa did, are the feds. You're being misled, and they didn't want to believe me. They attacked me, and that's why I'm sitting in the middle, just waiting for some you know what I mean, for some unity. But like you have a platform and you got some ideas, and you probably know some people who don't have records like I do that can get into politics. You know what I mean? I can't do it no more because never mind what they labeled me while I was in those institutions. They labeled me schizophrenic. They labeled me all these things because I told them what was happening. And now that all of it has actually happened in real life, I'm going back and suing them. Like, I don't care. Like, a violation of civil rights, forget about it. Like, never mind civil rights. Human rights are being violated. This dude is not a conspiracy theorist, bro.
Look. So for anybody to say that, look, I understand that a lot of this stuff, like when you're talking about FBI agents on January 6th, when you're talking about the infiltration of Antifa, like I'm going to be fair. Like I do think that some of that stuff.
Dude, it doesn't even come
I think some of that stuff sounds
it comes from secret organizations.
Yeah, look, I think some of that stuff sounds out there, and I think that what I'd like
it's not really out there. Like Donald
here's
Trump,
what I'd like.
he's trying to
here's
do
what I'd like to do,
he
though.
said he was going to do.
So
Donald
we have a platform on Discord where we can say whatever we want.
All right, cool.
We're not
All right,
limited.
yeah. I got
So
you. I got
listen,
you.
you should join that, and let's talk about it because I'm going to have some questions. But I will tell you guys this: like, you can. It's fine. Some of that stuff sounds out there, and until we know what we know, then you can label this as a conspiracy theory. Until you know that it's not a theory, that's fine. But
that phrase was coined by the CIA
is real.
After somebody assassinated JFK. Just to
yeah,
be
these
clear,
COINTELPROs, like this was a real thing. The FBI did this for 15 years, and it's been highly now, like a lot of that stuff's been redacted, and you can go through this and you can see what the FBI did, and you can see how they infiltrated specifically left-leaning groups.
PETA, an animal rights organization they infiltrated, bro.
Right.
PETA.
Right. So just so you know, like if you look this up, it's COINTELPRO, and you can look at the redacted documents. You can look at the unclassified. I mean, some of them are redacted, but they've been declassified. You can go read this stuff. It's real. What I would say though is I'm going to have my mods reach out to you and get you on Discord.
Permaculture and horticulture that Antifa was associated with, not agriculture. Permaculture and horticulture we were associated with. That was another one of our plans, was giving back public land to the public and allowing them to grow public farms and community farms. We were going to cut zoning and restrictions and building codes where if you're a single person, you should not have to build a 2,500 square foot house. That's unrealistic, unreasonable, and it puts a strain on the economy and taxes. We had a whole setup, man. And I want to share it with somebody who can do something with it. And that's why I reached out, bro. I don't
Okay, DM me. I'll get you in our Discord, and then we can talk more unfiltered. Does that work?
All right, brother.
All right, brother. Be well. Woke Jesus, everybody. Woke Jesus. Yeah. Look, I'm all ears. Again, I understand. If that was a MAGA person who wasn't citing specific, I probably wouldn't have listened to that. If he would, I just found out about COINTELPRO like maybe a month ago, and I don't know a ton about it, but I saw it was about how the FBI and I think the person who brought it up to me was talking about how they infiltrated the Black Panthers, but it wasn't just Black Panthers. They infiltrated a lot of groups and brought a lot of groups down. So I'm telling you, this is real. I don't know if everything he's saying is real, but I want to hear about it. It's at least interesting. So we could you could take off your tinfoil hat for now. But and if you want to hear about that, join the Discord. That'll be a very, very interesting conversation. Fee, IB, I haven't seen Korean leftist here or not. If one of you guys can make sure that we're reaching out to him and getting him in the Discord, we'll schedule a night where we'll do a call, and I'll do my research and we'll do a full-fledged interview. But we'll suss that out and we'll see. If you're trying to join the Discord, it's not working, MJ, just shoot me a DM. I'll help you out. I'm not sure exactly why that's happening. For all these what is today? Wednesday. For all these right-wingers that have been infiltrating the lefty spaces, we sure don't seem to have them today. I'll go, yeah, there you go, MJ. Shoot IB a DM. I loved that about the female dog. I did not know that's what that meant. But I loved that. And from now on, I'm going to call people a Mitch. You dirty little Mitch. That's what I'm going to say. 81 years old. Elder abuse again is trending. Let's see what else is. We've actual proof of COVID. There's somebody in the box there. Oh, we've had so much echoey. I know. I got Miss Julie and Mark. Listen, let me try and get some opposition. Give me 5 minutes to get some opposition. I love you both dearly, but I'm really trying so hard to get some opposition today. It's been non-op after non-op after non-op. Yeah, I found that interesting too. And if you find that interesting, jump in the Discord. Let's see. Hurricane Ida. Looks like we may have lost our Trump guy he's out swimming. Yeah, send me the loves. Thank you for the loves. I appreciate that. 2 minutes. All right, Miss Julie, you got 2 minutes. You always have 2 minutes from me. Go ahead, Miss Julie. You bet. See if you can anger some MAGA too while you do it. See if we can get some opposition up here. Even my opposition has been nice today. I was so mean yesterday.
You know I don't play like that.
I know.
I'm a nice old lady. I say my piece and I drop. I
true.
just want to make a quick public service announcement that transgender is not the same as transition. Those two things actually have nothing to do with each other. If a transgender woman decided to, say, keep a full facial beard and wear pink clothes, that could be as much of a transition as they choose to make. Or if you see a transgender woman and think, well, God, their hair's not done, they're not wearing any makeup, they're not trying very hard. I didn't understand that either in the beginning either, until I thought, look in the mirror, girl, you look like shit most of the time. No makeup, hair in a high ponytail or a messy bun. You're still a woman. You just don't care. And it's okay. You don't have to. So that was all I wanted to share. Regardless of what your thoughts are or anything, you don't have to transition physically. You don't have to transition chemically. You don't have to transition surgically. Okay, transgender and transition aren't the same thing. Let's try and be kind to each other, everybody. Thank you, Jay. I'm going to drop.
Thanks,
love
Miss
you, dear.
Julie. I
Bye.
love you. You're wonderful. Miss Julie is the queen of Discord, by the way. If you just want to talk to Miss Julie, jump in Discord. And Miss Julie at nighttime sometimes gets really into the devil's lettuce, and then it's fun. Unfiltered Miss Julie, as cool as Miss Julie is, unfiltered Miss Julie is also very cool. We had a conversation about feminism a couple weeks ago, and Miss Julie's comments were some of the funniest things I've ever read. I still have them screenshot. I can tell you that I won't give you the context, but Miss Julie is not a fan of the money shot. You can. It's exactly what you think it is. It is exactly what you think it is. But that's Miss Julie for you. She's the best. All right, we're gonna do. I guess we're gonna do Q&A in the comments here until we can get some opposition. I don't have any more. I don't think I had any more stories. Let me check my notes. I will say I separated my notes into topics. So I had Vivek is just a typical business loser, and I don't mean like he lost, because clearly he did very well, but he's just like a loser and he's a scammer. That was the first one. I don't know if my brother's in here. The next one is Vivek is dog shit. He scammed folks. Vivek is a climate fuck, and then Vivek practices his racism with Cuomo. Maybe we can play this one. Let me remember what this one was. Oh yeah, here we go. So we'll get back to Vivek here for a second. This is a interview he did with Chris Cuomo.
But that would mean, so if you're going to say, well, because I'll be a uniter, and you can say what you want about Trump, he was not a uniter. So if that is the thing, that's why I didn't get the Presley comment about the KKK. First of all, you know that you do not analogize a black member of Congress or a black anybody to a member of the KKK. You know that. And, I heard you say on the show yesterday, but let's be intellectually honest. Okay, let's be intellectually honest.
Let's be intellectually honest. Hakeem Jeffries.
But you know that's not a
Hakeem
place
Jeffries
to go.
in a much more no.
That's not uniting.
Let me just be honest with you, Chris. I think the way we unite this country is having more open conversations in this country. There is a gap between what people are willing to say in private and what people are willing to say in public. And I think the way we get to national unity is by opening up those conversations and closing that gap. Some people think the way we get to national unity is by showing up in the middle and compromising. Good people believe this, even in the Republican Party. I reject that. I think the way we're going to unite this country is by reviving the principles that unite all of us as Americans across our diversity, being uncompromising about those principles. Those are radical principles, Chris. This nation was founded on free speech.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, Vivek. You think that the way to unite the country is to bring the radicalists into the mainstream. Chris Cuomo is on something called News Nation. I don't know what that is, but he obviously It looks the exact same. But that's the idea from Vivek. Vivek is a champion of radical racial ideas. He's a champion of white nationalists. They love him. And again, the reason that they love him is because they're offering his talking points that their views should be allowed to be mainstream. We've pushed them to the corners. They were stuck in the corners for years and years and years, and then it became cool to be a white nationalist again. Somehow it became cool to be a racist again. Happened around 2016. And it happened when you had a president who was, I wouldn't even say using kid gloves, like pretending that he didn't know racism exists. Pretending that what was happening around him, that the white nationalists that were supporting him weren't supporting him. Pretending he had never heard of David Duke before. And actually, 100%, Viv is aiming for Trump's VP spot. And what he needs to do is, when Trump needed Republican support in 2016, he went and he got Mike Pence. He got somebody palatable and somebody that the Christians would get behind. Well, now he already has that support. The Christians aren't abandoning him. And where he needs the most support, where he has identified an opportunity where he can bring in more support, is with racists and with white nationalists and with incel men. I promise you that this is a giant focus in the Trump campaign. I can't recommend this book enough. I'll say it again. There's a book called Mindfucked. It talks about, and some of the people in the Discord have read it, but it talks about how Cambridge Analytica used social media to help Trump. And what they did is they targeted uneducated people and they targeted incels. So you are bringing in, and here's the thing, like bringing in a brown guy, no, it doesn't matter. But the fact that Vivek is willing to repeat these talking points to white nationalists and doing it with a different skin color is powerful, right? It softens their message. It allows white nationalists to point and tokenize and say, like, oh, it's not a white nationalist message. Look, it's Vivek. It's Vivek. And does he know? I don't know. Does he know it's a white nationalist message? I don't know. But his prescriptions are either they're either menacing and evil, or he's dumb. And I don't think there's a lot of in between there. I personally don't think that Vivek is a terribly bright person. I think he's a good speaker, and I think he does a good job at what a lot of right-wing debaters do. Again, I'm having a debate tonight on YouTube. It'll be at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Rob Knorr. I can tell you this right now. This is how this is going to go. We are going to have a conversation about Joe Biden and his corruption. And every single time we get to a point where we are trying to get to facts, and if I bring up a fact, or if I try and pin Rob on a fact, I promise you he will move to the next topic. We can do bingo with this. We can make it a drinking game. But this is what Republicans do, because they know that they can't completely defend their views. They have 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. They can't defend their views. The only defense for republicanism and conservatism is whataboutism. It's the only thing you can do. There's not another option for you. If Vivek goes any further with this conversation on which ideas are radical that need to be brought from the left, fine. You're going to talk about, now you may bring in black separatists from the left. That's a radical view that I don't think needs to be mainstreamed. You may bring in the people who think that all land should go back to the indigenous people. Again, you can argue that, but it's a radical view. However, if you go to the right, the radical view that you're going to have is you're going to have people who believe in white ethno-states, right? You're going to have people who believe in certain genocides. You're going to have people who think it's okay to use the army to invade other countries, brown countries specifically. You'll notice when Vivek talked about the drugs pouring into our country and his prescription for it, his prescription was to invade Mexico. There was no prescription for invading Canada. A lot of drugs are coming in from Canada. Why are we not sending our army to Canada, Vivek? This is the problem with his prescriptions, that on a surface level, you can say, oh, he's for unity and he's for bringing people together. But when you go past the surface level and you ask him and you ask anybody, okay, which radical ideas are you talking about? You're talking about white nationalists. You're talking about Christian nationalists. You can say I'm wrong all you want. And again, if there's conservatives who disagree with this, please jump in the box. But who are the radicals? Who are the radicals that need to come forward? What are these radical ideas on the right regarding, we're talking specifically about racial issues. What are the radical right-wing ideas that are not being brought to the forefront that are beneficial to the conversation. I don't know. Are you saying that Vivek didn't Vivek say he wanted to invade Mexico? Are we saying that Ron DeSantis said that? I'm pretty sure Vivek said that. I thought he agreed with that. Am I mixing him up? So DeSantis sends troops to Mexico. Maybe I did. Yeah, I might be wrong about that. Maybe I mixed it up. Somebody can let me know. I thought it was Vivek. You could be right about that. Vivek, I know, wants to fill the street with police and bring back mental institution. How do you say Vivek? Isn't it Vivek? How do you say it? Vivek? Vivek? How do you pronounce Vivek? I'd like to say it right. If you search how to pronounce, it's like the third option. Oh, Vivek. Oh, that's right. Vivek RamaScammy. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm bad at that. I grew up in Utah, okay? Everybody's name was Ryan. And every last name was like just Scandinavian or English. That's where I grew up. So I apologize. I don't have and then like Ryan but spelled like RYAIN, because then these Mormon moms got real progressive with their spelling. Like Mackensley. I knew somebody named Mackensley. I dated a girl named Sashlea. That was a real name. Her name was Sashlea, and the reason she was named Sashlea, and I promise this is the real answer, is that her mom always wanted to name her first kid Ashley, but the neighbor's dog was named Ashley, and so her mom said, "So I named you Sashlea. I just mixed up the letters," which is not true. There's a lot more letters there, but that was why. Ryan. I wish I was Ryan Gosling. I love Ryan Gosling. All right. Maybe no opposition. Maybe we're dying down. What do you guys want to do? You want to do? We can end early and go to Discord, or we can do an Ask Me Anything. We can just. I don't want to do a panel because I'm going to get bored with a panel. But what do you guys want to do? It is a beautiful name. She's a beautiful woman. You can probably find her on TikTok. I think she has some sort of. I think if you searched Sashlea, you would find her because I don't think there's many. She has some sort of following. I think she's an actress. Like a small actress, and I think she does something with like breath work or some, I don't know, she likes some sort of self-help. Links don't work from here. Oh, thank you, Bree. Yeah, the YouTube is RTP by J. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure the YouTube link, if you go to my bio, it's in my link tree, and that should work. I have it connected. It should work there. Please, no, it's SAS. I don't think there's a U there. I think it's SASHLEIGH. I feel bad. I probably shouldn't have done that. Nobody go look at her. No, don't go look at her. Don't go do that. Don't go do that. She has a beautiful family and recently married. Don't go bother her. I shouldn't have done that. But what do we want to do? We want to do Ask Me Anything. We can do that. Raid. Oh, we got a raid. Oh, you guys want to raid somebody? Let me check with let me see what Discord's saying. Sorry, I'm so bad at Discord lately. I apologize to my Discord. I'm in dog shit about this. Nothing from the moderators. Neat. Nothing. Go to general. DC says, well, there's one person says VC. I need to look into Discord. Yeah, you got to get on Discord. Discord is great. David is on with Boston Brian. Is Boston Brian hosting, or is it David versus Boston Brian? Is that what's going on? David's been doing this thing. By the way, you guys gotta see the shit I was getting from David last night. That guy is obsessed with me, and it's cute. I like it. But he was calling me. He was calling me a deranged. What did he say? Oh, he called me a fanboy yesterday. It was one of the most remarkably strange conversations I've had him. He said. He sent me a video of Snuggles, and I said Snuggles is remarkably stupid. And he said, Snuggles is one of the best patriots, like me. Look at you trying to do polls, polls, P-O-L-E-S, because he was talking about our polls yesterday with your own audience, left-leaning. You're just a fanboy. You're a Trump fanboy. And he told me that like 3 times, that I was a Trump fanboy. Fee, hi. Welcome back. Snuggles is weird, and Snuggles is one of the most like uniquely disingenuous people on this app.
Hi, everyone. I just want to let everyone know that if you've requested a link to the Discord, I've sent you how to do that. So thank you. If anyone else needs help, feel free. You don't have to follow me. You can unfollow me afterwards. Although, according to David, I only speak on Jay's behalf. I'm RTP's mod. He outs me anytime. Like, I go to sleep listening to live, so sometimes it rolls into David, and then I hear him calling me. And yeah, he's been pretty vicious about you, Jay, lately.
What did he say? I heard he was trying to get me to. He suggested that maybe I date his wife's sister, but I would have to be a Christian first. That's the last I heard that he said about me.
Oh, no. He said that you have sold out, that you used to be a moderate guy, that, I mean, I was trying to go up to speak to him because he was so wrong on what's going to happen on the trial. And I wanted to be nice and just say, I mean, he was speaking out of his ass, in all fairness.
No.
And
he
no, it
wouldn't
was
do
bad.
that.
But he wouldn't do that. Apparently, I'm just your talking person.
Yeah.
So I have no opinion of my own. I have no platform of my own. I was dying with him. So So last night, again, falling asleep, he was the first one on, and he wanted me to come up at 2 a.m. Like, I'm falling asleep. I'm dead to the world. And he's like, I was mean to you. You can come up and speak to me if you want. I was like, no, that's okay, David. I didn't even message him. I just let him roll. But yeah, Brian and he, last I checked, were having a great conversation. But
I'm sure it was a lot of context there, a lot of data being shared back and forth.
Once they both calm down, they're talking. So it's just rough right now out there. It really is. People are becoming even more polarized than they were last month. I think it's the indictments and finally settling on a lot of our conservative friends.
I think you're right about that. I think that there's not a lot of ways to defend Trumpism right now, so you're left to resort to you'll see, and that's what David's always done. But he's heavily leaning into you'll see now. It's heavily, and he's turned up the ad homs, like even just in our messages to me. Like they used to be like he would send me a video and be like, "What do you think about this?" And now it's like, "You dumb libs, you're all gonna see, you're all gonna."
And talk to him. If we wanted to do a raid, which would be hilarious, and just have you go up, it'd be interesting. He's got 1,000 people in there right now.
Who's on the panel? Is it just Boston Brian?
No, it's just one-on-one Boston Brian. There's no panel. He's like RTP light. It's like he took your profile and the way that you platform is trying to mimic it. It can often be very amusing, if not sad.
Yeah, that's not a good move for him to go 1v1, but I'm glad he's doing it. Yeah, we're talking about David the Goat. Let's look. Everybody, go watch Boston Brian. Let's go watch that. And I'm actually around today. Muted. What's that?
We'll all get muted or blocked. So, and by the way, Jay, 6 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern, will be on with Rob Noor. So we're asking you to please join us and support Jay, and then we can talk about it tomorrow. It is going to be an absolute, I think you guys are going to be shouting at each other for a while just to be heard. Not that you're going to go in there toxic, because that's not your style. But I'm
trying to figure out the best way to approach it. I watched some other people that did it well. I've seen some people. I think Destiny handled him really well. You just have to stay really, really calm and pinpoint him on certain things. Like, you have to pin him down on things, and you can't let any emotion happen. So I'm going to be really high, probably.
That's an interesting approach.
I want to give him a chance. That's probably what's going to happen, though. We'll see. That keeps me nice and calm.
I'm not sure if Ryan is in there, by the way, anymore. But hold on. I'll drop down to see where we can raid, unless someone can check for us.
Yeah, we'll figure that out, and then.
It's not on TikTok tonight. It's going to be on YouTube. The YouTube link is in Jay's bio, so you can go and look there. And if not, we'll post it in the Discord as well.
Right.
So you can raid T if you want. T is live. Parker is live. You want to do a?
Yeah, let's go to. I owe Parker one. Parker's raided me twice. I owe Parker one. So let's do that. Let's raid Parker. I owe him. He's raided me twice, and I don't think I've ever raided him. So let's go. And we raided Tommy last time. We'll get Tommy, and Tommy's raided too. But let's go to Parker, and then the next time, remind me tomorrow. Let's raid Tommy if they're on. So Parker,
Sure.
I think it's at Parker Get a Job is the name.
It is.
Yeah.
Parker
So
Get a Job.
what's the discussion today?
I don't know if yesterday it was is gay immoral, but he normally
Okay.
will switch around.
So
we'll
all
see.
a raid is when you go in there, just say RTP raid. Just say that, and it just lets them know that we came over. We're supporting. We're all coming from one raid together, and I'll go over there for a little bit too.
Yeah, we'll see
All
you
right.
there. Good luck
Thanks,
tonight.
everybody. I'll see you guys tonight. And if you can't make it tonight, I'll post that. It will be available for replay. And then if I don't see you tonight, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you, everybody. It was a very friendly live. I needed that after yesterday. I was salty as fuck yesterday. I'm not now.
And I
Thank you
slept through
guys.
the whole thing.
Yeah, thanks for the gift. We also added a bunch of subscribers. I've got to figure out something to do for the subscribers rather
Yes,
than
we
reading
do.
them all. I will figure out something for everybody subscribed. And for those who you gave gifts through Cash App and through PayPal, thank you for that. All these links to Discord, to YouTube, to Twitter, to PayPal, to Cash App, all of them can be found in my bio through Linktree. And the Discord link looks like it's not working. I'm going to go through my DMs right now before I go over to Parker's, and I will get you guys the Discord links. And I see just an FYI from Spooksia. What was just the FYI? Oh, Parker already thanked me. Okay, well, let's head over there. So it looks like some people went, so thank you. We'll see you guys there.